It's Street Talk time. We are going to start off this week, as always, with some lovely clickbait. The first one, Gemma, is not really a guessable one, but I'll give you a go anyway. From the Manchester Evening News, Coronation Street fans say, been waiting as hearts explode over first in years. So there are treble quote marks in this one, Gemma.
This is nothing to do with any of our lovely LGBTQ couples, is it? Because nothing good's happening and to make your heart explode.
It's to do with one half of an LGBT couple.
It's not. Is it to do with Lisa or Carla?
Yes, it's to do with Carla. Yeah. So
Carla?
Something that people have been allegedly waiting for years made their hearts explode.
It's the pistachio biscuits.
No,
we were just talking about them.
It's nothing to do with the pistachio biscuits. But I did wonder how you're going to insert that into the podcast. I didn't even hear anything about pistachio biscuits. I wasn't clearly paying attention.
I've been involved in a Twitter discussion about them because I love food, and I've been saying they've been mentioning food and talking about specific things a lot more recently. And I was just looking at pistachio biscuits at Fortnum and Mason because you can get a free one this month if you're a friend of Fortnum's.
Well, no, this is not about the first appearance of pistachio biscuits on Coronation Street, but it is Carla related.
My heart exploded.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Okay, it's a bit of a weak one. It was when Susie ran up to Carla and said, Auntie Carla.
She already did have
that. I thought that this wasn't the first time that she saw Carla since the comeback.
And she did say... They did mention their... I don't remember.
It seems to be Susie's thing that she's running up to her various aunties and flinging her arm round them.
Maybe that's what I got confused with, because Carla did bob in, didn't she?
She did it to Toya and Leanne,
Susie
I think.
Did, yeah,
Susie did. But anyway, that's what that one's about, not the best one.
Don't be rude.
See if you can get the... I'm sorry, Manchester Evening News. Also, from the same fine publication, Coronation Street fans spot who will rumble Becky Swain's real motive after Clue.
What clue was this?
She
was doing all kinds of suspicious things.
I can't really remember much of the clue apart from the character that we're talking about rumbling them. Apparently remarked that Becky was looking a little bit dodgy. No.
Lisa.
No.
Costello.
No. Who else is in the story? You probably got
Carla.
No.
Betsy.
Yes, Betsy. Apparently.
Really?
Yeah, they're saying that Betsy's starting to the scales are starting to fall from her eyes.
Rumble?
Well, I don't know really. She just says she's going to find out. It was with when Becky was saying about let's all go to Spain without without Carla, and Betsy was like, hang on a minute, that sounds a bit sus.
That sounds like what you would do if you were evil.
I feel sorry in advance for Betsy for whatever horrible fate is going to make
befall her.
Yeah, befall Becky.
It's already befallen her.
What?
Having an evil mum.
I thought we were going to talk about her haircut again.
You're talking about Becky. I'm talking about Betsy.
Okay. She does, doesn't she? Anyway, right, last one. That's one, then we must get on. I like this one. Liverpool Echo.
Yeah.
Coronation Street fans expose Roy Cropper link... No, that's not the end of it. Expose Roy Cropper link to Dingles before Corriedale.
Oh, his link to Dingles.
Yes. So,
hang on a minute. Is this something to do...
You can piece this one together.
Oh. I was going to say, is this something to do with somebody said that one of the names, is it Alice or something, is an anagram?
No. I've never heard that, is it? Alice is an anagram.
I don't know. Alice or somebody else, isn't it?
This is to do with Roy's correspondence, though.
Right. Is it something to do with a cafe?
I don't think so.
Oh. How am I supposed to piece this together?
I don't know. No, you're not necessarily piece it together. Well, you guessed it was to do with the letters, so I'll give you that. So,
I didn't. You told me.
I like this theory. So apparently, over in Emmerdale, there's a guy called Samson Dingle, who was put into prison last year.
Samson's the name of a cat.
Guess what? Samson's mum is
Alice.
called. Yes, that's right.
Who's Samson then? What's he in prison for?
Beating up his mate, apparently.
Was his mate annoying?
Yeah, probably. But I don't know how much of a bad lad he is. But yeah, so
Depends on whether he beat his mate up because he was like being homophobic or like sexist, or if he beat his mate up because
It's probably just an accident, and Roy is forgiving him.
It was just punch in the air, and his friend walked in front of him.
Exactly. No, I don't know anything about Samson apart from that, but that's not too battling. Because
it is a good name, though, isn't it?
I'm thinking this Roy story, the pros and cons story, has been going for, what, 2-3 weeks maybe, and it's not had more than a handful of scenes. So it's not feeling like it's anything approaching an A story, but it could well be just a few breadcrumbs for the crossover, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's to do with the crossover, but I don't know if I like it. I don't know how else they could do it, because it feels like I don't know who this guy is, so I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people do, though. And Alice was apparently last in Emmerdale in 2006, because I had to look at the Emmerdale wiki today. So she's now sending Roy possible love letters, I think.
Well, if Emmerdale fans might know more about whether she's been spotted filming.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know whether she's back or not. But anyway, that's quite possible. It makes sense because they don't seem to be going anywhere particularly fast with this Roy story. So maybe it is just teasing us ahead of Corriedale, which is coming in a month's time, by the way.
Oh, so yeah, they've revealed. We haven't said that.
No, well, let's talk about it in the news section.
Well, the YouTube people won't know.
Yeah, well,
you're always moaning about that to me.
They know.
Oh, you're allowed to do it.
They choose to listen on YouTube, then they miss out on all our other fine content.
Oh, you're allowed to say things. I'm not.
Gemma, stories for this week. I wanted to start off, despite it definitely not being the A story of the week, with the dementia scenes from Monday.
It was the A story to me.
It was the best. I saw, I can't remember who it was, one of the soap journos on Twitter on Sunday night or Monday morning, I can't remember, saying that the scenes with the ladies out and about was one of Coronation Street's finest moments of 2025. And I was like, I wish I hadn't seen that now, because my expectations are going to be raised for it. And maybe it's not going to be quite as good, is it? But it was absolutely superb. I think Monday's episode got pretty universal praise, didn't it? Because of everything that was going on with Debbie and the ladies. So I don't care that it only appeared in that one episode. I'm going to lead Street Talk with that this week before heading into much darker territory with Undertaker under the thumb.
Can I just ask one thing? Do you think... I know everyone keeps saying, oh, it's such a shame, it shows they shouldn't have gotten rid of Debbie, because, you know, and that's not a spoiler, we don't know when she's leaving, we know that this story will end in her departure. A lot of people saying, oh, they were, you know, they shouldn't have done this. Look at Debbie, how she's so great, right? And I agree with that. I really, really do. But I don't think they'd ever have anything like this if it wasn't for the fact that we all know that she's leaving. I think it adds that extra level that justifies its inclusion in the soap. Yeah,
no, I agree. I mean, Debbie has been back in the show since, 2019, 2020?
Yeah, and I'm not saying
they've not done anything with her. She's been great in small smatterings, but we've probably had more Debbie since her diagnosis than we have for the last 5 years combined.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a good thing. That's just how soaps work. It's just the...
I mean, I'm not saying... Yes, they should be leaning into Debbie more, but we know they wouldn't. So what's the ideal option is that they continue to use her as much as they're using her now, and in the way they're using her now, forever. But I don't think that's on the table. It was either a case of don't really use her much or kill her off and do like they're doing at the moment. And I think it's possibly the lesser of the two evils.
I keep thinking, and I know this sounds a bit poetic and silly, but of the Japanese and sakura blossoms, cherry blossoms, where part of the reason that they're so revered and loved is because they're so brief in their beauty, and you know that it's going to end. And I think that a lot of this is to do with the fact that you know this won't last forever, and that these precious moments are kind of like have all that more meaning because of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's true. I do think Debbie would be brilliant no matter what. I really, really do. But I just think that it adds that extra level of poignance to everything to know that it will end.
100%. And the sad thing with it is at the moment is we've got no idea how long this version of Debbie is still going to be with us, do we?
Well, we got a bit of a clue at the end of the episode on Monday, didn't we?
We did. But is it going to be a couple of months when she's, irreversibly not her old self? Are we talking 6 months? Is she still going to be okay this time next year?
And it's difficult too.
I kind of want to know, but also don't want to know, because I'm enjoying it and enjoying her while we've still got her still very much Yeah, corpus mentis or whatever the phrase is.
Corpus mentis?
What is it? What's the phrase I'm thinking of?
I wouldn't even go there.
In full brain. Not like me. I just make up words. Corpus mentis. Thank you. Yeah, corpus mentis.
I don't
body
think that's
for a brain
right.
or something, doesn't it?
I'm just going to say, all of the, again, just this is a disclaimer up front, okay? A lot of the, pretty much every single story apart from 2 here deal with real life things that are very dark and have affected people in their real life. Please don't get offended when we talk about them. We're talking about fictional characters. And so we're not trying to, we're just trying to entertain ourselves.
You and your disclaimers, Gemma.
I'm just saying, these are all really dark. Look at it. We've got dementia, we've got abuse, we've got another abuse storyline, we've got a grooming storyline, we've got a depression and suicide storyline, then we've got Dee-Dee's going to Singapore and Roy's writing a letter to somebody.
Yeah, well, the Swalageddon story we'll do third, and there's discussion about, is this abuse, is this not abuse, from Becky towards Lisa.
I don't think there's anyone saying it's not abuse. There's just people getting upset that people aren't saying the word abuse when they're talking about it. And I can see why, but we didn't use it last week, and I deliberately didn't.
She's tricking.
I deliberately didn't use it because I don't know what Coronation Street is trying to say about this storyline. And they are fictional, so it's kind of like...
She's gaslighting Lisa, she's tricking her. But that's been part of Coronation Street for years, and it wasn't labelled as abuse back then.
People are manipulative in relationships on Coronation, in soaps in general, all the time. And I know that the intention of the author is, not always what we care about when we're analysing things, but I try to be guided by what Coronation Street is saying in general. I do think she's being abusive, but I think it's not a storyline about that at the moment, and I just don't know. When you compare it to what's happening with
Todd and Theo,
you can see that they're clearly setting out with that storyline to
raise awareness
talk about
of coercive
abuse.
control.
I just don't know. I mean,
I think so. I think at the moment what they're going for with the Swalageddon storyline, with everything with Lisa and Becky and Carla, is entertainment and heartbreak. And they're more leaning into this than, well, everybody, if you're also a bit affected by your undead partner coming back from the grave and trying to get between with you and your fiancé, there's none of that on itv.com/advise, is there?
No, I know. I just don't want people to get upset about, like, I think a lot of the time people, if you have a different opinion or you don't share an opinion about something that somebody really thinks is very serious, they kind of get upset and they think you're diminishing their experience, and that's not the case at all. It is just not that deep.
No, that's not.
I know you can go as deep as you want, but you can't. You're kind of like projecting your something onto other people. And I've said this before on the show so many times. How you react to a story isn't just about the story; it's about you and your life experiences. And if you've had a life experience where this is, not where your dead wife has come back from Spain, but there are loads of people who've been in abusive relationships who are also, gay couples and straight couples, and sometimes you see something that makes you, it feels very painful to watch, and you see people getting excited and saying, oh, this is fun and interesting to watch. It can, it might really upset you, but...
This is the same with me and Theo and Todd, and somebody I saw said online, oh, Michael, I can't believe you're saying you're sitting there watching this with a grin on your face. And I know that saying things like that is a bit inflammatory.
Who said that?
I can't remember who it was.
Were they being mean?
No, I don't think so. I think they were just, oh my gosh. But no, it's because... But then I also said on the short yesterday that it feels like it's maybe going on a little bit, but the bits that are keeping me the most interested are when it gets super dark. And it's because, I don't want to feel bored. And if things just kind of plod along, I might be a little bit bored with them. But things that get my heart racing, or things that make me go, oh, or things like, I can't believe they did that. That's the kind of reaction that I want to have to Coronation Street. I don't want to be sitting there going, ho-hum. So that's why I like the scene with the kebab. That's why I like the stuff when Pete was round for dinner. That's why I like the mirror scene last week, because I'm just like, I'm on the edge of my seat with it. Not because I'm sitting there going, I love to watch this torture porn.
I agree with this. I think there should be more abuse in gay relationships.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's sitting there thinking that.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not sitting there going, I love to see Todd suffer.
That's what I just said.
I'm enjoying the bits where I can start to feel something. I think that's what I'm trying to get at there.
It's just difficult. I think you gotta let people have their opinions, and we do. Mm-hmm. That's why we have the write-in bit at the end.
We've got the Will Groomed storyline next, and there's a little bit of a lead into next week's story with the Driscolls as well, which I'm quite interested in. Dee-Dee departing.
Are you putting Ollie baking a cake as a separate storyline?
No, that's really part important. Of it. That's all part of it, Gemma. He's already got 2 storylines this week, Ollie. He's in the Will Groomed storyline and he's in the Dee-Dee departing storyline as Dee-Dee potentially becomes the next person on Coronation Street's cast list to disappear off abroad. How many have we had this year that have emigrated? Literally. They're either dead or emigrated. We had Eileen's gone off to Thailand. Yeah. We had Gail go off to France. We had Jenny go off to Tenerife. Yeah. We had Daisy go off to Bali.
Yeah, that's right. Now, how
many people have just moved out of the area?
I don't know anyone who's moved abroad.
I can't think. No, I don't know exactly. I'm saying I don't know.
In real life?
I don't know whether I have known anyone, and maybe we just don't know enough people.
No,
I can't say I know anyone apart from a couple of kids that have said my family's moving to Spain or what have you. But no one in our social circles has ever upped and left. Especially with quite such speed as they do on... I mean, I think Dee-Dee's dragging her heels a little bit. Jenny, she went in the day, didn't she? Got up one morning, and then decided to go to Tenerife, and off she popped. But Dee-Dee, she's still mulling it over, so maybe that means she's not actually going to go.
I'd be offended if I was Adam. She's obviously been sneakily updating her LinkedIn, hasn't she?
Do you reckon? Yeah.
How did this Singapore company? How did they find Dee-Dee? She's still eating out on that Rising Star Award, isn't she? What's she done in Weatherfield that would make a company in Singapore go, that's the go-getter we need?
I really don't know. Yeah, she was, I mean, I guess her name was made when she was in the papers over the Joel stuff, but I can't think of it.
Right, so let's remember, she
reported to the hospital.
What?
She reported the hospital for their poor treatment of her when she was giving birth to Layla.
See, troublemaker that is. That's what happens. When you speak up for yourself, you get labelled a troublemaker.
And headhunted by Singaporeans.
Well, she represented Lauren, didn't she?
Yes.
And she won that, didn't she? Even though Lauren's clearly guilty.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's probably why she got headhunted.
Yeah, well, there we go. It just took a few months to do it. Okay, we have got the pros and cons story next. Not that there was a whole lot to do with that, and we'll round things off with Asha Crashes. And she got a couple of scenes on Monday.
The pistachio biscuits going in that one.
Gemma, do you want to get the pistachio biscuits off your chest now?
No,
I literally don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Carla marched into the corner shop, Dev's corner shop, and asked him if he had any pistachio and almond biscuits.
Did she?
And he didn't have any in, but he did have some pistachios in, which I found quite surprising.
Well, yeah, the corner shop does always look to me very understocked.
They always have the most random, like, if you only had the amount of space you have in that, why would you stock the things you stock in there?
It's, yeah, the shelves, it's the same with the cabin. It just feels a little bit empty compared to a real life corner shop, which are just, everything's packed in there, in my experience.
Dev's shop is like the shop of requirement, because people will come in and be like, oh, I need some pasta sauce, and then they just pick one up and go to the counter. I'm like, I have never seen pasta sauce on a shelf in there before. How did he know you needed that today? Yeah, and that's why Carla walked in there. She's like, where's these pistachio biscuits I've been thinking about?
Well, the room of requirement obviously doesn't work for the bad witches.
Oh no, how dare you?
No, I love Carla, I do. Right, I don't know how many of these stories with my bad throat I'm going to be able to synopsise today, but I will do the Debbie one because it was relatively short and I do love it. So she's got this speech, doesn't she? And it started off so poorly, in my opinion, with her practising the speech with the funny camera shot and ample Vaseline around the edges of the screen as she's kind of in the zone practising her speech. And I was like, oh no, it's not going to be like this again, is it? And it's sounding quite good, but then she loses track of it all and it snaps out the funny camera work, and that's basically the last of we see of it for the rest of the episode, I think, so that's all good for me. Then Carl's there as well, and he says, look, you want me to come along? I'll support you. And she says, no, this is a women-only event. So what was it? Weatherfield Women in Business, I think?
Yes.
And so she's got this, it's her and a bunch of other ladies that are giving inspiring speeches about how to stick it to the man in business, literally. And Carl is still, meanwhile, trying to get these bank account details off of her, which I thought he already had at this point, but apparently not. And she's like, no, I don't want to talk about money now. Plus, I've got to register the wedding later. Busy day. I think that they've plopped for a date in March, they say in the script on Monday's episode.
Yeah.
5th of March, I think it was.
Register the wedding? What does that mean?
I don't know. Is it like when you get your banns read, but the secular version? I'm not really sure. Just booking a date in, I don't know.
So she's going to do it later, so she's not going to do it. She's going to forget.
Well, I don't know whether it actually happened or not, because most of what we got next is in Chariot Square in the speech and aftermath of that. So you had such a strong cast list on Monday's episode. It really, really helped. Sorry, Toya, but they did get some of the creme de la creme of Weatherfield ladies crammed into that hotel speech room. Where was it? It was just
it's the foyer.
Foyer, that's it.
All the seats out.
Yeah, and they put all the main characters on the front row. So you had Glenda, you had Sally, you had Christina, Bernie turned up, and some of them had the most tenuous links to why they should be there, didn't they? Like, yeah, I'm a business. Wasn't Sally representing Carla from Underworld or something? Because Carla's far too po-faced to have been involved in such a joyous storyline at the moment.
Well, I don't think she thinks that there's anything anyone can teach her about business.
Yeah. And I loved how Sally throughout the episode kept referencing the fact that she was the mayor of Weatherfield, or she had been the mayor of Weatherfield. Yes. So that was a very Sally thing to do.
Well, she was surprised she wasn't being asked to speak.
Oh yeah, she did. She said, surprised Debbie didn't ask me to speak today. She must have forgot.
And she made a face like, oh.
That was so funny. That was great. Sally is always really well used. She's not used half as much as she should be, but this was peak.
We had Leanne and Glenda.
Yeah, Leanne was there. Even Leanne was smiling in the episode. There was a little bit where she did a wink at Debbie, wasn't there? Like a little supportive, I got you, girl. And that's just what we need in Coronation Street at the moment. The whole of these scenes, and they may have been slightly over-saccharine, and I think some people thought that they went a bit too overboard with it, but I just absolutely loved it. You also had a little bit of rivalry between Glenda and Christina still, didn't you? Yeah. Which has been bubbling along a little bit in the past. Because Christina was there because she'd had a cosmetics business.
Yeah.
In the past.
Glenda's there because she's got little big shots. Leanne's there because of the bistro.
No. Leanne's not the bistro anymore.
She's at the speed dial.
Yeah, they didn't invite the bistro, otherwise our Toya would have come along. She was obviously far too busy with all her storyline dramas.
Maybe they thought it would be too much, but it would have been hilarious if, while Glenda and Christina were squabbling, Leanne and Toya was squabbling again. But
I wonder whether Toya being there would have made it a bit of a downer, because I don't think that her and Leanne are squabbling anymore, because Eva managed to make them up, and we don't think we've seen them in a scene together since. But I think that she would have been a bit of a square at the party, and it didn't need that. It would have just killed the vibe a little bit. Rude. Even Mary, I think I enjoyed on this episode, because she turns up late, doesn't she, and starts handing out these flyers to everybody there for Preston's Petals. And I also loved, and this isn't the best story for me to do, and I can't really speak, but I also loved how many supporting artists they crammed into that foyer as well. There must have been a good 40, 50 people in there?
Really? I don't think there were that many.
It felt like there was more of a class worth, and that's how I measure things.
They did that with the racist job search lady.
Oh yeah, with Naomi,
didn't they? She had quite a lot of people turn up.
Yes, and of course, to top it all off, the cherry on top is Raphael was there as well.
I know, he shouldn't have been allowed.
No, he should have put him in a wig or something, just to sneak him in there. But
I love him.
Yeah,
every time I see him, I'm like, yay!
Oh, is he going to say something? I know, I love him. And he sometimes likes our stuff on Instagram as well. So he's definitely in our
he's my favourite now.
Yes. So the room is ready later, full of women for the speech. So, and this one lady, I don't know who it was, can't remember, kicks things off by introducing the first speaker, which
Kim.
is not Debbie, who's not the first speaker. She has to sit through a few other ones first. But then eventually, Debbie's time comes and she gets up to the podium. She's got her iPad there with the notes, but she can't remember her password. and she starts panicking, and she's
what's she going to do?
What do you mean?
What she's got to do a speech and she can't read her notes. What should she do?
Oh, classic Corrie, straight from the heart.
Yeah. It's a classic Corrie, speak from the heart.
So this was
ad-lib something completely glorious and wonderful.
I'm going to say she's setting herself up for failure for still having a 6-digit passcode, because 4 is absolutely fine. You don't have to have a full 6 digits, do you, on your iPad?
I know people whose passcode is 1111.
I'm wondering...
This might work for her.
Do you think there's any possibility, and I assume there's not with this, do you think there's any possibility that Carl changed Debbie's password to purposefully
that would be
fluster
evil.
her? But that's what's... I don't think we've seen him do anything quite so...
nefarious.
Yeah.
No, I think...
He's kind of more of an opportunist.
Happened, but we can pretend that it did.
Yeah.
But, I think, at the end of the episode, we find out that, she's got strategies in place. So maybe she just did forget. It's
a shame that Becky wasn't there in the audience, because she's quite a dab hand at guessing people's iPad passwords, or not guessing them, figuring them out.
When's your birthday?
I can't believe that there were 2 completely separate stories this week which revolved around people not remembering their tablet password. Well, is there lack of originality on Coronation Street, or is it just moving with the times?
How dare you? Costello didn't forget.
Anyway, Debbie, use your thumb ID, use your face ID. Surely you're loaded.
Face.
Debbie is loaded enough to have an iPad that she can use her beautiful face to unlock. So, brought it on herself.
Let that be a lesson to us all.
Anyway, yeah, she does do a classic Corrie, speak from the heart. And again, I was ready to go, oh, here we go. That she's just going to make up something wonderful and we're all supposed to think how amazing Debbie is. But it genuinely was superb, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Superb.
It was superb, yeah. I can't remember who wrote Mondays. It's got out of my head. Was it Debbie Oates, maybe? Anyway, she reveals to everybody that she's been diagnosed with young onset dementia. And then she just starts getting all these quips in about, never underestimating the power of a good hairdo. And she talks about the fact that this diagnosis is pretty challenging, but she's never been afraid of a challenge. It's just so positive and inspiring. It really, really was. It's totally Debbie. She talks about having a job that she loves. She talks about getting married soon, so life is good for her. But then she kind of goes into, this is a disease about losing things, using your purse.
Ellen Taylor and Jonathan Harvey on Monday.
Oh yes, of course it was Ellen Taylor. Of course it was. She says, lose your purse, then you lose your ability to remember appointments, and eventually she's going to lose the business. Everything I've built up from now to now. It was so sad. But the worst thing of all, she says, is losing the connection to all the people she loves and herself. But not yet. She's going to cling on to all these moments of triumph before this god-awful disease takes over. And when it does, I'm going to face it head on like the sassy businesswoman I am. She says, I'm Debbie Webster, sharp, confident and in control, and I will not go down with a fight.
Without a fight.
Without a fight. Thank you for the correction. Just imagine if she'd done that.
Without a fight.
Sally's picked up. Debbie, don't you mean?
Debbie, you said it wrong.
Standing ovation from the living rooms around the UK as well. It was a absolutely inspiring moment. I loved every moment of that script. I loved the delivery of it. I loved the reactions in the crowd. It was just what this storyline needs, and it's yet more proof that Corrie isn't going to just take it down the miserable route. A bit like the Paul storyline, which could have gone down just these horrible, dark, depressing, miserable path for how long was it? 1.5 years, the Paul storyline. This is not what we've got, and this isn't who Debbie is. So I loved it.
I mean, it turns into one of the scariest things of all time for some people, which is a group of happy middle-aged women all having a drink and being raucous.
Yes, well, that was fun
terrifying.
As well. So they had the speech, and they all have a sit down around at a booth, all the women that we were talking about earlier, and you got your master mixologist turns up, who Glenda fancies, doesn't she? So that was a fun little
Christina tries to scupper her.
Yes, by going and telling this guy that Glenda doesn't shower and she's a bit whiffy round the bits.
And she's just been released from Holloway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But I didn't particularly mind that. That's the sort of thing that in a different story, in a different scene, with a different tone, that would have come across as being just abusive. Exactly. But it wasn't, because it was kind of cushioned, and all the rest of this. Oh, this is just women going out, and they've got a fun catty rivalry.
Oh, there's always a bitch in every group.
It was just great. And
she's a Samantha.
And it ends in Glenda pouring her drink all over Christina's cleavage.
And she ends up with a little sprig of mint there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like a boutonniere, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So that was brilliant fun. Do you think that... Are you happy for the Glenda and Christina rival to keep going as long as Christina and George are together? Or?
As long as it's camp.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't get too serious.
I think there's a lot of room for... I mean, we always talk about we love changing ends. And one of the funniest things about it, which is Alan Carr's like biographical story where he's... a young version of him goes through school and stuff, but there's a hilarious rivalry between his mum and the woman who lives over the road.
Yeah,
and those two, they're sniping to each other, and then like
they have the same energy.
Yeah, that is just delicious. I love watching that. So if we can get that going, it is going, but keep it going with Glenda and Christina.
I mean, I think Christina is very clearly had a bit of a personality change, and we're supposed to not... I don't think as viewers we're supposed to suspect her anymore. We're not supposed to think, oh, is she taking George for a ride? I think that there's been enough evidence presented to us now that she's had a difficult past. She's been hurt. She's seen the error of her ways. She's had a bit of a Damascus moment. The old Dom's fault. All that Greg and that Jenny flaming Bradley.
Yeah.
And underneath she's still got a bit of sass to her, but I don't think that there's... I don't think they're setting her down the villain route. I mean, do you remember when Debbie came back into the show? She was partnered up with
Roy.
with evil
Ray
Crosby.
Yeah, she was.
She was a bit of a, and she was involved in buying up all the properties so that they could bulldoze them, and we kind of forget that now. And I think that Christina's going to go down.
I wouldn't mind her being a bit of a scammy grafter, like a bit like Auntie Pam was at times.
Yes.
Where she's always got some kind of scheme.
No, that would be fine.
They tried to make Michael do that, but he forgot.
I think that Glenda probably will ease off a little bit, but I'm enjoying it while we've got it. So the next stop on the women's little trip is Fresco's the wall
Fresco's
with
car park.
Fresco's car park. Yeah, I think that had Corrie known that this script and the performances and everything, if they'd known that it was going to be received this well, I think that they might have pushed the boat out and said, let's do a location shoot. Because I think that was what was missing here. This is the sort of thing. Can you just imagine them in this, going through the streets of Manchester?
Piccadilly Garden.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Being attacked by YouTubers.
Or going up to the top of that, what's that restaurant that looks out over Quay Street?
Oh, yeah, 21 stories.
Yeah, something like that. Or over a bridge, or in an actual park. I was slightly taken out of it by like, okay, they're just on that very tiny bit of wall, which everyone always parks in Coronation Street. And I think this scene deserved just a little bit of money thrown at it so that they could go out on location. Even if they'd have just, gone outside the Lowry or something.
Let's go on a trip to the Imperial War Museum.
Maybe a bit further than that. But anyway, that was my one little gripe with it. So they're outside Fresco's. Debbie climbs inside a trolley so that they can push her along, which is brilliant.
She could have sat in the baby seat.
Imagine.
No.
I wonder how long she actually had to spend in there when they were filming it. Doesn't look like the coziest of places to rest your bum.
No, when she was sitting there with her ankles hanging over the edge of the wire, I'm like, that's cold. Somebody get that lady a cushion, please.
But what a visual it was. It's like, oh, you don't ever see that in Coronation Street. It was, I just loved it. And she's Sally's telling her that she's being a bit common, and Debbie replies back, oh, Sally Seddon. I remember you being in miniskirts and plastic macs. And like, yes, she's called her Sally Seddon because Sally Seddon, as she was back in 1986, was proper common, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And
she was wearing plastic. That was when she first appeared.
Yeah, well, good job really with that splash from Kevin. Yeah. But that was a brilliant little callback. And then they start pushing her along, and she busts into a police car, and she says, "Ecky thump." Like, oh gosh, can the script get any better? It doesn't take much to please me, but having Debbie of all people declare "Ecky thump" upon being pushed into it's like a Dory Lostock moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like if you couldn't get any more classic Corrie than that, but it didn't feel wrong. It didn't feel like they were stretching. And I think if any other character had said it, it'd have felt a bit odd.
I don't know how often people say "Ecky thump" anymore.
I don't know whether that is a thing that anybody says anymore, but it fitted this absolutely perfectly. Anyway, the copper lines them up against the wall, and he
like
says,
The Usual Suspects.
well, yeah, they I think that was in the script, wasn't it?
I really want
you and your usual suspects.
I know they took photos. I want a photo. I want to
I want
buy
a poster.
I want to buy a print of that.
Yeah.
I really do. Can they make that available? Because I want to print that out. I want to make it a nice big picture because that was great.
It was, and they all had their little different expressions about whether they were being a bit ashamed of being caught up or a little bit embarrassed or just finding it hilarious like Christina was. And they're all flirting outrageously with this poor policeman. And again, I'm glad, in a way, that in another universe, that could have been Craig, and then the scene wouldn't have quite been as good. But it was this unknown innocent police officer having these Larry women just flirting massively with him. It was brilliant. And Debbie's like saying, "Hey, I was Weatherfield businesswomen 2 years in a row, actually." And they basically just managed to sweet talk their way out of it, don't they? And Debbie says, "I've got a medical condition. My feet are killing me itis." And he just ends up sending them on their way. That whole scene was completely unnecessary. It wasn't plot driven. It could have been cut for Canada, but I really, really hope that it wouldn't. They did not need to have that scene in there at all. And sometimes you have scenes that didn't need to be there, and it's like, what was the point of that? But that was a perfect example of putting in a scene just for fun, and it was a triumph, I thought.
It's part of Debbie's plot, though, isn't it?
It was part of her plot, but
her...
if they hadn't had that scene, we wouldn't have been any the wiser.
No, I know.
The story wouldn't have been worse. Well, no, it would have been worse, but we wouldn't have noticed. We wouldn't have felt that anything was lacking.
No, but they're using it to build up her vibrancy and stuff so that they can take it away, is what they're doing.
Yeah, and hopefully, although, this is a very big hope that I don't think Corrie are going to stick with, building up her friendship and this gang of women around her. Because if Debbie's story is now about Debbie and Leanne and Sally and Mary and Christina and Glenda, etc., amazing. I just don't think it will be.
What happens with that, though, I've noticed, is you forget why they're talking to each other. Like, this happened with Paul. When David kept coming, when he was dying, and I kept being like, why is David there? I can't... And I forgot that they had this friendship when they were in prison together.
Yeah.
This is what I'll do next year if Debbie's still in the show and Leanne's there reminding her about something. I'll be like, why is Leanne talking to Debbie for? Are they friends?
Yeah.
This is what they do. They just forget. They just kind of ditch it for a while. I don't know if Corrie's going to keep doing it though, because I do think that this year feels like a commitment to what Kate Brooks had said previously about friendship groups. It takes a long time.
It's not the same as it was, but
No.
there's more noticeable friendship moments this year for sure.
Corrie is like a giant cruise ship where you start steering it about 3 weeks before you want to get to port. You know what I mean? You can't do anything quickly on Corrie, really, because it's such a huge beast and things are planned so far in advance.
I was kind of interested in seeing, so where's the story going to go on Wednesday and Friday after this? And it ended up not going anywhere. And maybe that was for the best, because I think if they'd...
Left you with a good feeling.
Yeah, it did. And Wednesday could have been like, oh, it's not as good as Monday. And they have shed half the characters. So, yeah, I think it ended... Well, it was very bittersweet, wasn't it? Because they all go back to Debbie's flat, and this was probably the best look we've had of it so far.
I'm sorry, but I do not like the colours. I think they look really tacky.
They do, but it's perfectly tacky.
No, it's not.
I love the flat. I absolutely adore it.
All of the colours are just slightly off.
No.
To me, yeah.
There's one, I can't remember what Debbie says when she's like saying... when they're toasting her and saying how amazing she is, she's like, oh, my head's going to smell so much, I won't be able to get it through my turquoise door.
See, I see her more of a teal than a turquoise, but...
Anyway, they all go back there, and this is where this is where the tone takes a little bit of a turn for the worse, where Glenda asks Debbie if she regrets not having any kids. And there's a moment, and that moment has reignited some online discussion. And have you seen any of this week?
Yes.
Because this is something that we, I think, had as a clickbait about 2 months ago. We're like, no. But I'm really thinking now that there's something happening here. I don't want it. I think it's unnecessary. I think it's starting to become a bit of an overdone thing on Coronation Street now. Because honestly, if you do this kind of thing more than once or twice, it's overdone. But is Carl actually Debbie's son? What are your current feelings on this?
It's possible. I mean, it's possible in the show, even when, Toya had Rose, that was technically possible because of the fact that she wasn't on screen for 2 months, blah, 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 blah. So Debbie, she wasn't in the show for years and years, and there was...
The timeline was that the Websters came into Corrie in 1983, 4, I can't remember. They stayed there for a year. Peter Armitage wanted to leave the show, who played Bill Webster, and they thought, well, he wouldn't leave without at least one of his kids. So Paul Sue Devane got the axe as well there. And then in Universe, he and his new wife Elaine and Debbie went to live in Germany. 2 years later, a child was born, and that child was Carl Webster.
Yeah, and we've also had little hints that, they were talking about the fact... Was it Carl talking to Debbie saying, Mum, my mum hated me?
Yeah, it might have been, actually.
She, if you're going to build this up, you're going to say that this woman couldn't have children, decided when Debbie was pregnant, let's take this baby on, Debbie doesn't want to keep the baby, I've always wanted a child, it's related to you, Bill, let's keep the baby. And then when she starts to regret having a child at all, she didn't like him, and then she takes it out on him. Yeah. And maybe, I don't think that if you're going to build this theory up, I don't think Carl knows.
No, I don't think he does at all. 100% he doesn't know. Not a chance.
He would have said something like, "Why'd you let me be raised by this woman who was horrible to me?"
Yeah.
I can't remember what the conversation was that he had. I know that he did.
We've seen the tiniest snippets of Debbie in the 80s, haven't we? From whatever was on the DVDs, and it's not an era we're particularly that well versed in. Is Debbie the sort of person? I mean, who is? I don't want to. Is she the sort of person that would be a teenage mother? I don't know. I don't think they really existed in Coronation Street back then.
What do you
in the show? I know that Audrey had Gail Young and so on.
Women have been having children at all ages.
I know, of course they have. But I think that the idea of Debbie getting pregnant, had it been on the show, that would have been scandalous, even though she was probably...
How old was she?
Oh, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, maybe at the time.
I think somebody said that it's possible she had the baby when she was 17 or something like that.
I think it's 17 or 18 this would have made her, which is perfectly normal for that thing. Not normal, but uncommon in real life. But I think in Coronation Street, maybe not. But if they want to retcon this, and it is a retcon, it is... Or is it no? How did we distinguish it?
Well, yeah.
We said a retcon was where they completely go against something that we've seen, and
we
had another term for. Well, we didn't technically see it, so that I think that they very well could go down there, and it wouldn't be that much of a stretch, I suppose.
No, it's not at all a stretch.
The one thing that I've seen to add on to the theory that Corrie could be breadcrumbing it is when she was saying to Carl, Abby's not good enough for you. And she was, maybe as a mum, thinking, no way, I don't want you going out with this skanky tart. So that could have been a bit of a mummy thing to say. But then on the flip side, again, I've not rewatched this scene to verify what somebody online has said, but when Debbie and Kevin were trapped in the freezer those years ago, apparently the conversation comes up there and Debbie's saying that she regrets not having kids, and technically she might not have said that, or she might have used that moment to confess to Kevin or something.
No, I think you would... It still makes sense, because in this universe, Kevin doesn't know either.
No, nobody. Well, only Bill,
Debbie knows.
Bill and Elaine.
Yeah, and
they're
Debbie,
dead.
Yeah, so she's the only one left who knows. But you would regret not being in, or like have a passing regret of not having been involved in Carl's life.
Yeah. I wonder...
And you wouldn't say, oh, I regret the fact, but you'd say, oh, I regret not having kids, if you wanted to keep the secret.
How confident would you say you are at the moment that this is going to be revealed? Because I'm pretty high up there now. I've been convinced.
You've convinced me. I'm feeling like a Becky coming back from the dead about this.
Yeah. It is quite a Becky coming back from the dead, isn't it? It's like, oh, come on.
And it's also...
I don't want it, though. I don't want Carl to be Debbie's son because he's a horrible scrote. I
do.
Do you?
Yeah, because I think that he'll blame her
for
not
being a horrible
raising him.
scrote.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't like... Apart from, with Fred and Ashley, that was amazingly done. And that was exactly the same thing.
Right, so just remind people who haven't...
Well, Fred Elliott came into the show, and for a good, 4 or 5 years, Ashley was his nephew. And then it was revealed in 1999, I think it was, that he was actually his father and has been all along. And I'm sure that wasn't originally the plan for the character way back in 1995. And that's exactly the same here. This wasn't originally the plan for Debbie, for Carl to be her son.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'm going to say, in the last 2-3 years, maybe somebody said, this could be a good idea. And maybe this is why Carl was brought back for this storyline, not so that he could sleep with Abby, because when we were told about Carl coming back, it was very much like he's going to have an affair with Abby and it's going to blast the Websters apart. I think the real catalyst for his return was what if he was Debbie's son, and how would that play into this huge dementia storyline, which obviously massively overshadows the affair story.
Here's a question. If Carl ends up being Debbie's son and he finds out, do you think he'd back off trying to scam her, or do you think he wouldn't care?
I think he might double down on it, because I think he'd be mad that he was tricked for all these years.
You owe me this because you weren't there.
Yeah. I've been lied to all my life, kind of thing.
Oh, be vindictive.
What would Kevin's reaction be to knowing that Carl isn't actually his brother? Does it make a difference? I don't know. If you're not my brother, you're my nephew. It's one of these silly things, again, like you said with the Becky storyline, that only happens in a soap, and you can't always get your head round and put yourself in the shoes of somebody that this actually happens to. And I know that these things do happen on rare occasions in real life.
You need to get Jack Nicholson in here.
What? Why?
Because he thought he was his own nephew.
I need to look into this.
No, he was. I think he was raised by his sister was his mum.
Okay. Yeah, I think that.
Oh dear.
What's Carl? What would Kevin's reaction be? Would he be mad at Debbie? Possibly. It seems almost too juicy to not happen now. I think that the character interactions and the storyline potential is probably too much to resist. But I will still say, I wish they weren't doing it. How do you think it would come out? Would it be a bit further down the line when Debbie is starting to get things wrong a little bit more? And is she going to tell somebody, Carl's my son, and then they won't believe her, or they're saying, oh, you said the wrong thing? Or will she say, or will she regret confessing it to somebody, and then she'll just say, of course he's not my son, that was just me not knowing what I'm talking about, I've got dementia.
Honestly, I know that you don't like the idea of it, but it does add this really sad element to Debbie's dementia.
It does.
She would forget and keep having to be reminded, or think it was a secret that's just been revealed and start crying and saying she was sorry, and then Carl would have to go through it all over again of having to say it's okay, I forgive you, whatever he gets to.
Well, I want to just kind of tie back into what happened on Monday now, because after the women all have a lovely time back at Debbie's garish flat, Bernie's left there tidying up, and this is when she looks inside her secret wardrobe, and what isn't there is a passage to Narnia, but a secret memory board, exactly.
Well, just before then, I think that's her drinks cabinet, and somebody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and put this," and she's like, "Oh, nosy, keep your nose out of there."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What's in there then?"
Yeah.
Normally, it's like dead husbands.
I did wonder when she said it, and I wasn't expecting this, but it did such a brilliant job of wrenching you away from the joyousness of the episode.
Weren't you waiting for something like this to happen, though?
No, not really.
I was all the way through this. I'm like, when is the shoe going to drop? Something's going to happen. This is just too nice. They're setting this up for some kind of sad and tragic reminder.
But it wasn't like massive misery that spoils it all. It was just like really horribly bittersweet as Bernie.
It's like back to reality.
Yeah, it was, and this is the secret struggle that she's going with. She's putting on this front of being, hey, I'm Debbie Webster, I'm fine, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to, I'm still me. And then we've realised that she's got this hidden board full of photos of her friends and family with their names and relations to them, and it's like, oh, this poor woman, she probably looks at that every day to try and remind herself.
Well, she probably doesn't need it yet.
She probably doesn't, but would you keep looking at it anyway? And I hope that if you look at it every day now on routine, it's less likely to drop out of your head.
Yeah.
But so on there you had Kevin, you had Carl, you had Sally, you had all of the characters, or a lot of the characters who were in this episode, although some of them had little subtitles or subheadings, didn't they? So like you had Kevin, brother, and then for Christina, I think it was just Christina.
Yeah.
No relation yet, but
gonna
need to fill some space. But it also had Rosie and Sophie on there, which I very much appreciated. I couldn't tell whether it was a more recent picture of the two of them, actually, because I haven't rewatched that scene. I really must. But that was a nice little inclusion of them in there. But on the Carl one, it did just say brother. And I did go back to watch this, because I thought, I wonder whether there's anything about how the word brother is written that looks like she was about to put something else and then she changed it to brother, but it doesn't. There's no clue there on the photo board that I could spot, at least, that Carl's her brother. So it's almost like the fact that she's, if indeed he is her secret son, is she trying to make herself forget that she's her son because of the too much heartache?
That would be a great part of a scene,
because we're going to get to a stage where that board is what she relies on to know who people are, which will mean she'll forget, if this is the case, that Carl is actually her son.
Well, the thing about it is that some people remember only things from certain periods in their life, don't they?
Yeah, and quite often that will mean, for dementia patients, remembering things from your youth.
Yeah, so maybe she would remember.
Maybe she would, and
maybe she'd forget he was supposed to be her brother.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were scenes where she's telling people, maybe like even introducing him to other people as, oh, here's Carl, this is my son, and Carl's having to go, what? No, I'm not. She doesn't know what I'm your brother, remember, Debbie? And she's like, oh yeah, of course you are. And that would be utterly heartbreaking, because he'd be correcting her because he doesn't realise that he's her son. She's used to, by this point, being corrected, but actually she was right.
Yeah, I know.
It does really, really fit perfectly, but I just hate Carl, so I'm still not sure I want it to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of these. It's too tempting to ignore the possibilities that would open up from Carl being her secret son.
Yeah. But I guess we'll have to watch watch this space on this one, because if it is the case, I don't know, I'd say we've probably got a while to wait until it happens, but maybe we don't, It's the 65th anniversary episode on Monday, and I know that's going to be focusing around the Driscolls, but you never know what other surprises they might have up their sleeves. You've got Christmas. Is there going to be a surprise drop there? And quite often, on the strike of New Year's Eve, they like to use that as a big revelatory moment on Coronation Street, don't they? So you never know, but I'm definitely going down the path of, I think we're onto something here. Not we're onto something, it's not my theory.
No, people on our Facebook group have seen.
Yeah.
I think it's a great theory. It's jumping the shark, obviously, but I think the shark's well and truly been let out the stable.
I think you're right. I hope that if it does happen, it doesn't cannibalise the story and Debbie's journey too much. Because I don't want Debbie's, final year, months, whatever, to be about Carl more than it is about her.
No, I know what you mean. But that shark is just... it's shark-infested waters now, Michael. And also, you got to just make sure it doesn't bite you and eat you, that shark.
Debbie's the shark here, Gemma. She's Weatherfield businesswoman 2 years in a row,
I know, she would have got it 3 years in a row.
Right. I think that's probably all we've got to say about the Debbie story for this week. But by gum, that was a great episode. Ecky Thump. That was superb. So yeah, Jonathan Harvey, did you say, and Ellen Taylor?
Yeah, Ellen Taylor wrote the first half.
Banging job. Really, really, really. That was one of Corrie's best moments of the year for me. Let's take it down a little bit with some darkness and misery, and talk about Todd and Theo and the Undertaker under the thumb. Gemma, I pass over to you.
I'm just going to warn you that an Amazon parcel is going to come.
When's it coming? I've seen you tracking it on your phone.
It's 3 stops away.
Okay, well, at some point, listeners.
You can just go and get it and I'll carry on talking, okay?
Okay.
Right, so, Monday, every episode, especially at the beginning of the week, Todd starts off the show being subdued or sad, and I can never remember what has happened to him.
What happened last week? Yeah.
Do you remember? I thought you were going to tell me.
Yeah, last week was the mirror.
Of course. I can't, you know what I mean? It just happened so much. I'm like, what's happened now? I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Because it's Monday. It's like it's
2
like
days
last
to
week
forget
never
about
happened.
That.
So
Got smashed into a mirror last week.
So he's got to go and see. He's going to go and see Summer because she collapsed. But Theo's like, maybe you shouldn't, because she might jump to the wrong conclusion about your face where you cut yourself. And Todd's like, all the right conclusions.
Todd this week, he's kind of battling, isn't he? Because one minute he's very subservient to Theo, and every now and then he'll say something like that to show, hang on a minute, you are horrible, get to me.
Yeah.
And that's what we get in the final shot of the week for Todd as well, when he's setting up these cameras. It's
giving it all away.
He's not given up hope yet.
Well, Theo's like, we don't want to play this game, do we? We've went through it before. Trying to say... what I say about what happened to you is the truth. So, look, no, you stay here till the wind dies down. I don't want people sticking their oar in. So,
but he's also supposed to be in London, isn't he, at the moment?
Yes. And Todd reluctantly agrees, and Theo's like, I'm going to get you a greasy, horrible takeaway like you pig for dinner, all right?
But he says it in a nice way.
No, but you know that's what he means.
In a faux, cheerful way.
Yeah. So, Theo sees Summer in the cafe and says, oh, how you doing? And she says, they're talking about Todd as well, and he's going to take it easy today. And Todd's there, just bored on the sofa, just chilling out. But then later on, Summer comes up to Theo and says, "Oh, I saw somebody in your flat. The shutters were moving, but you said that Todd had gone to London."
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know whether it was at that point or whether it was later in the episode where he's up at the window. Is like the prisoner at the slats trying to look down.
Well, obviously he's done it because she saw him.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately for Theo, everybody latches onto the idea that he's being burgled, and there's nothing he can say or do about it. Everyone rushes to his house to try to check out what's going on. So Theo's like, "Oh, let me go up first." So he runs upstairs and he's like, "Idiot, get in the bedroom, hide." And then they all come in and start looking around. Theo bundles him in with an iPad or a laptop or something, and Theo realises that they're going to see the mirror too, and he's like, "Oh no, we've been burgled. They must have kicked the door open. No, Todd must have left the door open or something, and that's why they've broken in." And someone's like, that doesn't sound like Todd. And then he's like, "Anyway, get out." So he leaves. They all leave, and then Todd comes out of the bedroom and saying, "Oh, I'm really, really sorry." And Theo's like, "I'm going back to the pub to finish my pint. No more slip-ups from you." And the next time we see Todd, he's cowering on the floor in the flat, which is dark because he can't put the lights on because he's pretending he's not in. So on Wednesday, Dev comes over to ask about what's gone on with this intruder.
Because he's the landlord.
And Theo's like, "No, it's all fine. Don't worry about it." And Todd walks in, and he's still supposed to be in London at this point, and he has to sort of lie and say, "Oh no, I came back, I was drunk. I fell over in London. You know what it's like there. And my face
Trip
got bashed
hazards
up.
all over the place.
Yeah, very bad.
Or is it more of a slip because the streets are paved with gold?
It's one number of things could have been. And I missed Theo, so I came back. And so Dev believes him and leaves, but then Theo looks at Todd like all disgusted, doesn't he?
Because he nearly screwed it up.
Well, yeah, but also he's probably pretending to be mad at him for lying. Like, oh, you lied so easily. You're so duplicitous.
Yeah.
You're such a bad person. So later on, Theo makes Todd an omelette and says, oh, you did a good job, and he's being nice to him. And then Todd tells him he's got a job interview for telesales. And then Theo gives him a gift, which is this smartwatch, so that he can track him and see his blood, his heart rate. And he's like, oh, now you've got this, you can do a 10K today, can't you?
Yeah, I don't think... does Theo know... I can't remember whether he does. Does Todd know that Theo's tracking him with it? I can't remember whether that was part of it or not. Maybe
no,
it was remember. Because Theo maybe calls him out on it.
Well, no, he knows that he knows where he is.
It was presented as a gift, like because he's using this exercise as a form of control, isn't he? And a bit like with the car, he's love bombing him and sort of showering him in gifts to make himself look great. And Todd is now grateful to him.
Well, he also can't refuse it because then he'd be ungrateful.
Yeah.
And then Theo would get mad at him. So, you know, you can't turn down this gift because of how scary and evil. I can't think of a better word.
I was just a bit surprised that it came in a little presentation box rather than the actual box.
Well, it's not branded.
Is it? It's not an Apple Watch, is it?
And imagine Apple going, yeah, of course you can use our watch for a domestic abuse storyline, no problem.
So they still make I can't remember whether they do Apple products with the 7 seconds for the box to come out, and probably that just wouldn't work on TV because it's like, come on, we've got 23 minutes we need to do for this episode in.
I know that Apple gives people free products for their movies and stuff as long as it's not used by an evil character, and I don't think that would work on a soap because everyone's had at least one evil
Everyone's got
line.
the potential to be evil, yeah. They just had their watch off when they were doing it.
Yeah,
it's okay. What do you think of Todd in telesales? It seems like he's gone down that route so that it can be a working from home sort of role. Yeah,
but also Todd is perfect for sales.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because he wanted to do all the upselling at the Undertaker's when he first worked there.
He's a salesman, naturally. He just can't help himself.
Yeah, I think it would work for him, but it definitely is a way that he doesn't have to go out to work.
Yes.
Did he choose that because he thought it'd be the sort of job that Theo would want him to have? Would Theo be happy with him if he said, "Oh, I've got a job that's, you know, working with the public," or
no, he wouldn't like that.
I got a job working at the church with Billy, or you know.
No, he'd hate that.
Yeah, so I think it's like he's walking on a minefield, isn't it? He's got to do the right thing to try and keep Theo happy because he doesn't know what little thing is going to make him explode.
And it makes him second guess everything, puts him on edge, makes him nervous, even doing the smallest of things all his entire life. You know, while he was Theo, like, if I make this for dinner, is this wrong? You know, I make a nice healthy dinner, and then Theo comes in and say, "Hey, what are you doing that for? You deserve a greasy takeaway today. Have a greasy takeaway." And then you have it, and he goes, "You're a pig."
Yeah, it makes you wonder whether Theo's thinks, well, whatever Todd does today, I'm going to tell him well done, or whatever he does, I'm going to criticise him for it. Because there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason as to
that's part of
how
abuse,
he reacts. And this is why Todd is so constantly on edge. Like every single decision he makes,
what's going to happen.
Even if he's really trying his best to do what he thinks is going to please Theo, it might not. And he might just be called an idiot because of it. Yeah.
So then we get this camera in Todd's face.
Oh yeah.
And it was like,
it was a Digby Chicken Caesar moment, wasn't it?
If you watch that Mitchell and Webb look, there was a series of sketches said Digby Chicken Caesar, and we both didn't find that one very funny, but it's quite iconic because it does have the in your face camera where they run around and they do the
it was silly. It was so unnecessary.
And because Todd was running as he was filming this, I did in my head play that theme tune.
I'm sure we're not the only one.
I think
I'm really starting to wonder whether we've got some Mitchell and Webb fans on the writing team in Coronation Street, because it was only a month ago that we had the Peep Show episode, wasn't it?
I know.
And that's the same actors, same comics.
Oh dear. Right.
Anyway, very silly, unnecessary Coronation Street.
I felt sorry for Gareth Pierce having to do it.
I felt mega sorry for Gareth Pierce this week, although he probably loves a good exercise. He likes a walk and a hike, does Gareth, doesn't he? But he does a very good job of looking knackered when he's on his exercise bike and his run, and he's drenched in sweat.
Yeah,
and he was guy. That scene on, was it Friday, when he was just having to power away to get his heart rate up to 160. I couldn't do it.
No. Right, so Theo's tracking him, and he notices that he's stopped because Christina comes out of the funeral parlour because Todd's like huffing and puffing. And she's like, "Are you all right?" And she sees he's got a bruise on his face and says, "Look, come in for a cup of tea." And she won't take no for an answer.
Isn't it? It's a proper cut there now. A scar. Theo, another permanent facial scar.
Theo, who's noticed he's stopped, has come to see what's happening, and he looks around the corner and sees them talking to each other. And so Christina and Todd are having biscuits and tea. And Christina says, "George is lost without you. Is everything all right?" And he says, "Yeah, of course." And he makes a hasty exit.
It was funny not having George in Coronation Street at all this week. There was a few scenes that his inclusion might have benefited the show. But I suppose he has burnt his bridges with Todd at the moment. So
it's Christina
make the reunion.
Gonna...
Yeah,
it's good that Christina's around to bridge the two.
It's yet another thing that they're giving Christina to make the viewers warm to her if they're not already there already. Like how they made Abby the hero, this kind of junkie. Let's give her all these rescues to do so we think that she's great. And Christina, I'm sure there's still some viewers that are thinking of her as being a massive scam artist. And it's little moments like this where Corrie's saying, no, she's lovely.
She's lovely, really.
She's lovely. She's just made some poor decisions in the past. But she's over that now.
She's done.
If I had worries, I'd want Christina to come and give me a tea and biscuits.
Yeah, I know. I love her.
She'd be a lovely listening ear.
Yeah. So
clutch me to her bosom.
Yeah, exactly. So Todd and Theo eventually go home, and Theo's asking him about his workout, and he accuses him of lying when he says he has a good workout.
There was also the bit outside Victoria Gardens when Ben comes along, wasn't there? And I don't know whether Todd was going to be saying anything, but Theo kind of grips hold of his arm.
Theo's come up at this
point to stop him. Yeah. Because Ben's asking about the break-in, I think. Because
Ben was up there trying to help find the burglar.
And also saying, you're back from London early. And Theo really kind of grips hold of him as a way
Todd.
To say, to Todd to say, don't say anything.
So Todd's like, I only went into the Undertaker's after my run had finished, and Christina practically forced me to because I had cramp in my leg. And Theo's like, well, what are you talking about then if you were in there for so long? And Todd says, well, George was missing me, but I'm not going back. And Theo's like, oh, George, he's so manipulative, he's just trying to force you back. You're better off without him. You stay away from the pair of them, okay?
Yeah, he makes Todd agree to stay away from them. So it's now those two and Billy. I think he said he's going to stay away from Billy, hasn't he? Although he's not doing a very good job of that.
Keep away from that Summer as well, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, totally.
She might fall over. Okay. Right, so Friday... they have their bedroom thing, and then when they came back out again, Todd's like, oh, I've got an interview for the telesales job, and Theo says, let's go to town and have lunch, and Todd says, well, I don't want to waste money and stuff, and Theo's like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, Theo is jumps on that and accuses Todd of accusing him of wasting money, which Todd, he wasn't, but equally it makes sense for Todd to say, well, we don't want to be spending willy-nilly when one of us is out of work at the moment.
They're both out of work.
Oh, yeah, Theo is.
Because I don't know what Theo's doing with...
Yeah, I don't know where he's up to with his scaffolding at the moment with Pete, yeah.
Theo's like, I've got another idea then. So they go and get an exercise bike and bring it home. Summer and Billy see them doing it, and Summer asks about Todd's face, and he's like, oh, yeah, it was just, I was in London and I fell over. So Todd has got his exercise watch on, and he's on his bike because he's got to go up to 160 beats per minute, and he's really struggling. He's only at 140. He stops for a break when there's a knock on the door.
Do you imagine that at some point he's going to push himself too far and he might collapse or something, and then he'll be in hospital and Theo has to...
He'll be like, oh, it's your fault, stupid idiot.
Well, but whilst at the same time telling the doctors at the hospital, oh, he's such a... He does it to himself. I always tell him to ease off.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah. So who's there? It's Danielle. And she's come round to tell Todd that she's taking the kids abroad for Christmas. And Todd's
also
like...
Tenerife.
You can't do that. That, you're taking them away from their dad at Christmas. Oh. And then Theo comes in and says, oh, no, that's a great idea. The kids love to go to Tenerife. See you later, Danielle. And then she leaves and he says, why were you not doing your workout? And he's also annoyed because Todd was arguing with Danielle and says, look, it's none of your business, not your battle.
It's one of these cases, again, of was he actually annoyed with it, or did he say, I could be annoyed at this, it's about time I switched on to being mean. This is as good as anything to...
Well, he's saying to him, look, Todd, you don't understand this. Don't get involved. You've not been a dad. And Todd says, actually, I wasn't, Billy was my son, is my son. You're being cruel here. And they argue again. And Theo accuses Todd of stirring the pot. And Todd says, I'm not standing for this anymore. I'm going. And this is when Theo turns to a new tactic, which is to cry and say that it's his fault and he's terrible and he can't help himself, and he starts hitting himself and slapping himself. And Todd comes and tries to stop him, and Theo's like crying and whining about how he's depressed and he's scared and he doesn't want Todd to leave him.
You said it was a new tactic, but we have seen Theo get upset with himself before, haven't we? But maybe not to this extent. But
I'm talking about the self-harm.
Oh, yeah. But although the elastic band on the wrist
that was what he used previously.
Yeah. So it's also had me thinking, was he just turning on the waterworks? Were they crocodile tears? Because I do think that some of when we see him get upset, he is genuinely feeling it. It's really hard to know, isn't it? Yeah. And I think that's what's also keeping Todd on his toes, not knowing how much is and isn't genuine. Because I think Theo desperately doesn't want to lose Todd, and it's like he will do absolutely anything to keep him because he's so needy and vulnerable. He's partly doing it for himself because he wants to keep this guy who is supposedly the love of his life, and he's just got a very twisted understanding of what that means. So I think that they were genuine, but equally he does do an awful lot of plotting and scheming too. This exercise bike probably was something that he had in the back of his head for a while, don't you think?
Yes.
Along with the watch, this is a way that I can not just make sure he's ready for the marathon, but also I can keep tabs on him and have him dancing to the beat of my drum.
Yeah. So he calms down a bit later, and Todd's saying, you said you don't know what you're capable of. What do you mean by that? And he says, I don't know. Look, I'm just going through this really tough time, and everybody talking about us and, Danielle, the kids. I'm struggling to keep the dark thoughts quiet. And Todd says, look, I'm really proud that you're being so open about this. They give each other a hug. They apologise to each other. And Todd says, I'm going to go out and get us something to eat. Okay, there's nothing here. I'm going. You stay here.
Do you think that there could be a scene potentially on the horizon where Todd finds Theo with a jar of pills or something like that?
It is a manipulation tactic to threaten suicide when things are not going your way.
Because that's kind of that was what he was implying there, wasn't he? By talking about the dark thoughts, and now Todd's hands, he hopes, are completely tied because he's now made Todd think, well, I definitely can't leave him, otherwise I might be responsible for his death.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he kind of climbs up onto a scaffolding and sits on the edge of a roof somewhere and threatens to hurl himself down to the ground just as a way of controlling Todd. And maybe hoping along the way that it'll make Todd look bad in the eyes of other people who might be watching on.
Those are all things that people do. So, Todd ends up in the pub because he's getting a hot pot. He's getting a couple of hot pots. And Summer sees him and says, oh, can we join them? And Billy's there too. And they're like, look, what's wrong? What's up? Talk to me about what's going on with you. How are you and Theo? And Todd says, look, Theo's really struggling. He's finding it hard to cope. And Billy says, do you want me to speak to him? Todd says, no way. And Billy says to Todd, you need to look after yourself too. And when they go back, when they're all leaving, Billy says to him, if you ever feel overwhelmed, come and talk to me. And they have a hug outside the Rovers, and who is watching them?
Foolish, come on.
But Theo.
Rookie error, guys.
From the end of the street. So Todd goes back up to the flat, and Theo doesn't tell him what he saw. But he starts getting all pitiful and needy again, and asks for a hug. And then Theo says, I'm going to go out and get some wine. And then this is when Todd gets these photo frames.
Oh yeah, because he'd had those in the pub earlier, hadn't he?
He was looking at them earlier. He gets these photo frames and he puts them down, and it's recording. I don't know, I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I know you can get smart frames in that they will show digital pictures, but it wasn't like that, was it? It's literally got some little spy cams inside.
Yeah. And so he puts one by the TV and one in the kitchen. And they're photos of him and Theo.
Yeah. So what do you think that's kind of telling us about him?
That Todd's more aware of what's happening to him than we had realised.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Like I'm a bit confused. I do think this is leading to something that feels a bit contrived. And I don't know whether we should say what.
No, I don't. No.
But it doesn't feel like a natural thing for some. I don't know.
I know what you mean. So he's trying to get evidence that he's being abused, right?
But why?
And if he knows that it's happening, why doesn't he just leave?
And I know why people don't leave, but it doesn't feel like he's in that position. That's what I'm saying. Like, we've spoken before about how difficult it is, and the statistics for, I mean, it's mostly women that we know the statistics for about leaving abusive relationships with men, and it's 6 or 7 times people attempt to leave before they finally get away. And I've known people who've been in abusive relationships, and I've seen it happen. So I'm not unaware of the reality of the situation, but this is a fictional story, and so they can tell it in whatever way they like. So I'm wondering, because this doesn't really make sense, because there's no reason why Todd can't just go, I'm off.
Although he did try that, didn't he? And then Theo.
Yeah, but what difference would it make to have evidence that he's abusing him? I think that Todd is getting this evidence to show Theo.
I wondered that as well. Like, is he doing it for Theo? Is he doing it for himself? Is he doing it for other people? But you're right, because I don't know whether he does still think there's something salvageable in Theo here, and if only he could see what he's doing.
Yeah, I think that's what he's gonna say. Look, you're a better person than this. You don't realise what you're doing to me.
But equally, he must know that Theo would react incredibly badly to being shown this footage.
I don't know.
You're spying on me. How dare you?
Maybe he thinks he can't do it any other way. Like I said, this feels a bit contrived for a purpose, and you'll see what that purpose is.
I wonder whether, like, does he want to watch it back himself? Like, is he feeling like he's so out of his mind at the moment? Gaslit
so much that he doesn't.
Yeah,
I have to double check this. Is this really happening?
I'm being told that this is all my fault and I'm doing the wrong thing and saying the wrong thing here. Am I?
Yeah.
But equally, he could be collecting evidence so that if he does get the power up to leave him, and people saying, why would you do that? Theo's a nice guy. At least he's got something to show them to say, no, this is what it was. Does he want to do it to get Theo arrested or sent to prison or whatever?
Or does he want to get it for himself? Like, I've got to stop forgetting what he does to me. I keep letting him tell me it's not happening. But it is happening. I know it's happening. It's very, I wish that he had somebody to talk to, but obviously he doesn't.
It's an interesting contrast to the Yasmin and Jeff story, because Jeff put cameras around the house then, didn't he? The abuser did.
Yeah.
And here we've got the victim trying to, prove that actually they're okay. Did Yasmin find one and keep one there? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember there was one in a bookshelf, but I can't remember who was in control of that in the end. It must have been Jeff. But I think it's you're right, it's definitely a little bit of a contrived thing to do, possibly. But
I'm not saying that you wouldn't, there's no reason, or nobody who's been in an abusive relationship has ever done anything like this. I'm just saying that the situation that Todd is in at the moment, it doesn't feel like, it feels like I'm really having to try to work out.
Yeah, I wonder.
And I know why they're doing it.
I wonder whether Theo is going to find them before long.
Yeah,
because that would be this is a huge risk that he's taking here. I can't remember. I'd have to have another look at the photo frames. How obvious, once you know where it is it that there's a lens?
Do you
camera
think that
lens
Todd
here?
is thinking like, I'll just pretend I didn't know? Mate, what's that? I didn't know that was happening.
Because if if Theo wants to pick up this photo and say, I'm just going to have a look at me and lovely Todd, then he's going to be having it right up close to his face, and he might notice this.
It depends on whether they were photos they already had, and he's just put them in a frame that looks the same as the other one.
And also, if he does find the photo frames, how quickly would he confront Todd about it? Or would he use it to engineer a situation that makes Todd look bad? Or I don't know. And also, where are these videos being saved?
Yeah, I know.
Because if there's an SD card in the back of this frame, which I would imagine makes more sense here, so that you're not constantly streaming video data to the cloud, Theo could take that and watch it and see what footage that Todd's got. But if it's just going straight to the cloud or somewhere that only Todd's got access to, then he's going to less be able to use it against Todd. I mean, I don't know. I think it opens up some interesting possibilities, I suppose, and it certainly isn't a direction that I imagined it was taking. But I'm glad that it does show that Todd has still got a little bit more agency left in him, even if it's not necessarily the first route that I would recommend somebody in his position would take.
You can't give people.
Go to conversationstreet.com/advice if you want to know anything. If you
want Michael's advice about something.
Yeah, 100%. Right, take cover now, Gemma. It is time for Swalageddon, and I'm going to Swalageddon a little bit bored of this. I don't mind. I think I said this on the short. I don't particularly mind the relationships parts of it, but when it all gets a bit too, I know I'm not being novel for saying this, but when it gets a bit too policey and hospital-y, Coronation Street and this story, it does, my interest wanes, and I can't say that I was too excited by everything going on with Costello in hospital this week, were you?
I was excited that he is in hospital because I saw his name on the hospital bed.
Oh yes, you did, didn't you?
When I did my tour, and we had to carefully go through the footage I took behind the scenes in the hospital set. I shouldn't really have been in. Sorry. And we took out anything that could have been a spoiler, and Costello's name on the end of a bed. I was like, he's not been in hospital yet. Yes. I guess it was just his turn. Yes,
so we've known for a while that he was going to end up in there, but I just found it a little bit dull, to be honest. But let's go through it anyway and see what we can pick out. I know that there's been a lot of discourse online this week and all weeks about how this story is just completely going down the pan in the eyes of many a Corrie viewer and Swala fan.
Yeah,
But I think for different people it's for different reasons, and everyone has vastly different views on whose side they're on and who should have done what. And I don't know. It was. It's just could do without the hospital stuff, to be honest. But anyway, Monday's episode, we didn't have a whole lot of Swala drama in it because it was Debbie that was taking centre stage, and rightly so. But we did have Becky asking Lisa about Carla and saying, what's going on there? She moved out? Have you split up? And Lisa was saying, we're just having some time apart. So this is the...
I don't know if it's for good.
Yeah, this is the aftermath of the big split on Wednesday and then
Friday.
and Friday, the double split last week, and it's kind of coming to light and people are starting to realise that they have indeed moved on from each other, even if it's only temporary. So Lisa finds Carla in the pub later, who says, look, I'm going to go and see some flats tomorrow. I'm moving on with my life. We're over. And Lisa doesn't want to talk to her.
Lisa wants to talk
to her.
Lisa
wants to talk to her. Yeah, sorry. Lisa does want to talk to her. But Carla says, well, what's the point? We're split up. So I think she says, I saw you through the bloody through the window putting up your Christmas tree with your dead wife. So I think I know what's happening. You don't need to tell me. It feels a bit like Carla is moving a little bit too quickly here. But I suppose that's what some people will do if they've been hurt. And they say, well, fine then. And Carla seems to sort to do that. She was giving warning signs and explaining her thoughts and feelings about Becky, and Lisa didn't pick up on it. And so I don't know who would be surprised at Carla at this stage going, what's the spy then? Yeah, exactly. I mean, they both admit that they're breaking each other's hearts over it, but Carla's not in the mood for any kind of reconciliation at this point, and she doesn't need any more drama. And I don't blame her, because I think if I was in Carla's position and I was like, okay, you know what, maybe I was a bit hasty, I just know that Becky was going to wheedle her way in and cause upset all over again. She was manipulating Lisa isn't in the right mindset to completely go cold turkey on Becky at the moment. Lisa thinks she's in an impossible situation because she can't see a way around anything that's going on, because she still loves Becky. I don't think she's in love with her, but she's also protecting Betsy from future heartbreak, and she seems to believe Becky's cockamamie story about being hounded by these invisible gangster. Gang. Yeah, exactly. She just can't let her go. And again, we've said, well, Becky's not letting her let her go. But it does make sense as well, and we've said it in the past, that if you got somebody who you were married to and you were deeply in love with, and then they came back again, you would still want to trust them, wouldn't you? But it feels like there's been enough warning signs now. Is it willful ignorance on Lisa's part? She's just kind of ignored it. And the end of Monday's episode sees Becky and Lisa and Betsy all kind of going, and she's saying, we're back together as a family. And Lisa's like, yeah. So Wednesday's episode comes around, and this is when we get to see Costello for the first time since his accident. I hope he's all right. Lisa tells Becky, this is the other, I've seen so many people online saying, Lisa, why are you telling all these details of the police investigation to Becky? Why would you reveal and yet not tell Carla by saying that this is top secret stuff? But maybe it is just because she's a cop. Her colleague. She was She's probably just so used to talking about work stuff with her that she can't get out of the habit. But it does make me laugh that she's saying, I think that the police are on their tail. Oh, how come that this bloke knew to escape? What's the link there? I wonder. But so they've tracked it down to, narrowed it down, to, what's his name? Darren Dazza? Something like that. Some kind of ne'er-do-well name like that. No offence to any listeners. No offence to Dazzers. No, somebody they used to nick for minor crimes. And Becky's saying, I don't know who you mean. No clue who that is. Sorry. And then Lisa has to scurry off to work. And what do you know? Becky is actually meeting up with this guy. He had a nickname as well. Was it like Soap? Are they calling him that? Do you remember? No, I really don't remember that at all. They mentioned it 3 or 4 times during the week. That it's odd. I'm sure that they're saying his nickname is Soap. And I don't get that unless they're having it as some kind of link to the Soap crossover. And this Dazza bloke's going to play a massive role in Corriedale. Daz. Oh, yes. Daz is a brand of washing up powder. Daz is a brand of a detergent. Yeah. There you go, that Michael. I've solved the mystery. His nickname is Soap. But I think that anybody in a soap with a nickname of Soap is just a little bit fourth wall breaker, isn't it? No, it should be the main character. But yeah, are we going to have Soap crossover to Emmerdale though? Is there another Daz in the Dales? Yeah, who knows? So Becky meets up with... That sounds like a web series, Daz in the Dales. Becky meets up with Soap in some against some dodgy wall later, and I think
it's just the road.
It's just the road right next to the police station. Sorry to shatter anyone's illusions here, but this is literally a 5-second walk from the front door to the police station where they were filming this. So it's taking Becky's willful not caring about being undercover to next level, isn't it? People are saying she's always walking around in bright sunlight when she's supposed to be undercover, but literally to do it outside the police station, come on, girl.
Well, I mean, are we not just missing the most obvious thing here is that she doesn't care at all? I mean, everyone keeps going, oh, she's supposed to be undercover. Why is she walking around in broad daylight? Because she's not undercover. She just told us that, and we believed her. I don't know why. I still held my theory.
It's because she's supposed to be dead. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes up and says, "Hang on a minute, I went to your funeral. I contributed to the wreath," then that could cause issues for her and for Jerome.
Maybe she used to have different hair.
She did. The picture of them in the lounge has got her with her hair down, isn't it?
My theory is that she is actually the leader of Curtis's gang.
Yeah, last week you were saying whether she's still very much in the heart.
That's why she went. She took the money, she ran. She's not worried at all. They're her goons. Mm. No one else.
I hope it comes out soon. I'm ready for this to be over. I do, and I don't have any. Literally, we have got no behind the scenes gossip about Corrie whatsoever. But I think that the crossover could be time for Becky's story on Coronation Street to come to an end. Yet I'm conflicted because I don't want the crossover, which is a monumental event in ITV soap history. I don't want it to be all about Swala and Becky and Lisa, and the main long-term characters should be the ones that are mostly involved, don't you think? But if there's not a Becky thing in there, I'd be very surprised.
I don't know what they're doing.
I know you don't, neither do I.
When we found out about this crossover, when was that?
Early last year, March, April time. Before Becky was in the show.
Yeah, I don't even think that these characters were. Swallow was obviously a thing.
Yeah, but I don't know whether it's just been us or whether people have been thinking this is the way that the wind is blowing, but a lot of people are speculating that at the heart of this big crossover could be some Becky and Lisa stuff, and
it's the biggest storyline. It's the biggest storyline, at the moment in the show, and it's the one that gets everybody talking online. So, from a canny perspective of we're gonna get the most we can out of this,
I would just say it's a little short-sighted.
You're talking about legacy.
Yeah. There
are often bits where you're watching something that was a big deal, like a big event moment. You're like, oh, I've forgotten who that character is. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen with Lisa and Carla.
But Lisa was the first Corrie name announced as taking part in Corriedale.
Yeah, and she's not been in the show for a long time, but that's been Corrie's modus operandi for a while now, putting people who are new characters at the centre of the action. Mm. So they did that with Lauren. They did it with.
They did put
Mason's
put a trailer out for Corriedale, which we'll talk about later on in the podcast. And there's maybe a few clues there that
I don't think there's
there will be some legacy characters involved.
I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a popular character who's not been in the show for a long time and making them part of a big storyline. But yeah, like you said, it feels like I wanted some other big names, but Carla's been in Carla's the big name here, isn't she?
Yeah, Carla's the big name, but also, whether crossover or not, I don't need this to run much longer than early next year. I don't want Becky's manipulations going through and being a big player in 2026.
There aren't many people that would argue with you about that.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I do think that Vicky Myers and Ali King do need a rest.
I don't think they can carry on like they have been.
No.
Like physically, it takes more out of you than you realise, and people don't like to be told how difficult it is to do the job of being a performer, acting or whatever, because they are jealous and they want to be it, and they think you get paid loads and you're famous, so you shouldn't complain. But it actually is very physically and emotionally exhausting, and if you're in a soap, you're full on, like incredibly so.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying that other jobs aren't hard either. Of course, nobody's saying it's not difficult to be a doctor or
when you've got a cast of
something.
80 plus people and some people are being ran rugged, then it's only fair to
exactly.
let other people have a go that maybe haven't had their time in the spotlight for a
I
little
wonder
while.
what the big story of next year is going to be.
I know, I do wonder. Well, obviously the Debbie one's going to run through.
Okay.
But anyway, the other thing, I don't think it's a spoiler to say this, but Amy Cudden has been filming her short film in the last few weeks, hasn't she? And this could be that she's having a little break from Corrie, because I think that she could still be a member of the cast and do this short film.
Alison King went off and did a movie this year or last year.
Yeah,
in the middle of being in Swala, so.
But it could also be equally, and this is just pure speculation, that she's doing this movie because she has left the cast, which means that she could be no longer with us. No, I'm not. This isn't a spoiler because it literally could be either way. I have no firm idea one way or the other whether she is still on the cast, because she's had this other project. Well, lots of people have other projects. So anyway,
I've got other projects.
So Becky's meeting up with Soap in the dirty alley, and they've got the phones, hasn't he? He's got.
Well, give me Costello's phone.
And the burner phone and his real phone.
Well,
and I pity the casual viewer this week having to keep track of which phone is which.
She asks for the phone. He gives him. He hands one over. And then she says, give me the other one or I'll kill you.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
All right.
No, she says, I'm going to get somebody to come and kill you, which is probably the most villainous thing that Becky's said so far, the direct threat of death. But he gets out the other phone, which is the real phone, I think. And it's got a picture of him and
his daughter.
I don't know what her name is. I can't remember. I don't think she was called it in the scripts yesterday.
Florenza.
Okay,
Florenza
Costello.
Yeah.
And she says that the phone has been switched on, and she's like, "You idiot! They can track this."
What's that? Sirens.
What do you know? The sirens start blaring, and then they run off. So,
but also, it makes it sound like there's a control room, right, where they're sitting and doing nothing, and then suddenly a blip appears on a map, and they're like, drop everything. Costello's phone's been sighted, and they send blues and twos out. They don't have time to do any of this in real life.
Yeah,
they don't even come to your house if you're being burgled here.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose with it being an investigation relating to a somewhat senior officer there, they might have a little bit more police funding going towards it, but I don't know.
They're like, right, we're going to have to move the budget away from the Christmas party.
Anyway, Lisa, meanwhile, is not having the greatest time. She's asleep at her desk at work because she's
so tired.
Very tired. She's been working jolly hard. And Kit says, "No, we nearly cornered this bloke earlier, but he scarpered."
How did he know that we were tracking him?
Yes, how on earth could that happen?
Because you put your
Lisa's not
sirens
got
on.
any idea.
Because you put your sirens on, you dimwit.
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't take a genius.
All they needed to do was slide up to them and go, "Hello, hello, hello, what's all this then?" And they'd have been busted.
Yeah.
But so,
it didn't work out like that, did it?
I'm sure Kit's learned a lesson from it. But anyway,
it wasn't his fault. It was the uniformed officer.
Yes, you can't even blame Craig for these slip-ups anymore.
No, it's Faig.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Faig. It probably was Faig, wasn't it?
That did idiot.
Premiered last week.
No more
on the
biscuits.
show. So anyway, Lisa gets sent home by Kit so that she can have some plot stuff going on at home.
Go home for some plot. You're no use here. We've solved the crime.
And the plot is that she meets up with Becky there because Becky's taken the non-switched on phone home, so she's got the burner phone now, right?
Right.
Yes, I think so. I need us both to be on the same page here because it's probably really obvious and easy, but we're getting old, so I don't know. She's got the burner phone, and she has to.
Right. So they didn't track that one because they don't know that exists. They only know the one that was switched on with Florenza on it, and so she's not got that one. She's not. That's fine. She's got the one that nobody knows about, but she can't get into it because it's got a passcode on it.
Correct.
And so she's not worried that they're going to track it because if he's done his job right, nobody but her knows that it even exists.
Yeah, and Becky's trying to get into this phone to try and find out if there's any evidence that puts her in the frame here. So she's trying to crack the password and obviously not doing a very good job here. But she hides it away when Lisa comes home and she's a lot perkier now and she says, just heard some news that Costello's been brought out of his coma this afternoon.
What?
And there's a bit of bad news for Becky because
he'll say
he's going to say it was Daz.
Yeah.
It was Soap that did this to me.
And it really is. Soap is to blame for everything that happens in the story.
Yes, it's far too Soap. There's a little bit of a Carla sees Betsy in the shop later and warns her off of her mum. But she doesn't go any further with that because Kit comes in. I can't remember what happens there. The main drama on Wednesday is Becky going into Costello's room in the hospital, and he's still under at the moment, isn't he? I don't know why it's taken her so long to do this, but he's there, sedated, manages to walk into his room, no problem, because she's very sneaky.
We still don't know why she was in the hospital in the first place, the first time we ever saw her.
I don't think we'll ever find an answer to that.
I think she was just like, I love vending machines.
Maybe she's got a contact in the hospital. Who knows?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe that's how she got in to see Jerome so easily.
Sometimes I reckon when we talk about things like that, if you were from Coronation Street and you were listening, you'd be like, shut up. Shut up, it's nothing.
It's a secret.
Just shut up.
It's just a clue.
It's not a clue. It's a clue to nothing.
It's a clue that we can reveal when we want to reveal and say, look,
I don't think it is a clue. I think she was just there because Roy was there.
I don't know.
Next.
Anyway, so Becky's nefarious plan is to inject Costello with some air.
I think that's what she was doing.
I think that's what it was. But just before she's about to do it, oh no, Lisa walks in and it's like, what on earth are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. What if somebody sees you? And Becky's able to kind of say, well, you know what, he was my mentor. I'm sad. I hate seeing him like this.
I was delivering a Christmas card.
Giving him a bunch of grapes.
Yeah.
And I can't help feeling this is all my fault. Oh. But then Costello starts to come round. He didn't even need to be brought out of his induced coma. He just wakes up all by himself. And so there's a little bit of drama and panic there. But it's okay because he's brain damaged and he can't speak at the moment.
Oh, good.
So not spilling any beans about what he saw in terms of his attack yet.
So Becky's about to kill Costello.
Yes.
Do we think this is the first time she's tried to kill somebody or killed somebody? She did it very casually.
Yeah, she didn't seem to be bothered by it. I mean, sometimes in soaps, plots dictates that characters lose all of their morals. But you're right. The fact that she did it quite freely does raise eyebrows. And
it was her last resort because she couldn't get into the phone and she needed to completely divorce herself from any kind of connection, and that was the only way she could think of doing it at the last minute, right? She did it in a really cold and calculated and practical way. Like, well, this has got to happen.
She did. She looked almost like a bit of a contract killer, sort of.
Yeah, like she's
done this a million times before. For Curtis, maybe.
Not out of malice. It's just you are in my way.
Mm. I think what she should have really done is taken a page out of Pat Phelan's book and just leant over and whispered in his ear and go, "Hey, Costello. Wasn't Daz.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me, definitely not me. I'm on the level, aren't I?
I'm dead, remember?
Yeah.
I'm stalking to you from heaven."
That worked very much for Pat when he whispered in Seb's ear, but oh well. You can't know all the tricks, can you?
Yeah, maybe I need to go into a coma and you can whisper into my ear like, "Stop eating rubbish. Start walking more."
All right, we'll work on that later. Okay. Let's get the podcast out of the way first. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
so Kit is like talking to Carla and saying, don't let on to Betsy that there's something off with Becky, because we don't want her to have any inkling that we're investigating. Yes. You and me, we're on the same team here because we both know Becky's a wrong'un and we're trying to get evidence.
I just hate the fact that Kit's been made out to be a hero in this. He's going to be, isn't he? He's going to get all the medals. He's going to get his DS promotion. And I'll be there going, oh, well done, Kit. You're the best character in the programme. Oh, secretly despising him underneath.
Yes.
And he's going to get the Good Samaritan Award, Weatherfield Good Samaritan Award, because nobody's won that from Corrie for a few years. Anyway, Kit arrives at the hospital later, and Lisa isn't telling him much about what's going on. But
this is when like, would you like to know all of his medical history and information? You guys know him, don't you?
This is when we find out that he's struggling to respond at the moment, and he continues to do this for the rest of the week.
Having a nice rest.
Is he still together with his wife? I can't remember.
I get the impression not.
Because surely they should have had somebody there if Mr. and Mrs. Costello were still an item. Because you had daughter, Velma, just there in the hospital.
Who's Velma?
Velma Costello.
Who's that? Oh, Florenza.
Oh, Florenza, sorry. But yeah, I would have thought that some kind of grieving wife would be there. But no, maybe I'm missing something obvious. And he's married to the job.
I'm going to say, based on his timeline of pictures of his kid, just him and his kid.
But then we did see what she looked like today, didn't we, on
Who?
Friday? Wife, because there was that one picture on his phone, which was the mum and the daughter and him together. So I don't know.
Maybe she's busy.
Maybe she's too busy. Like, call me up when he's coherent. I've got shopping to do.
What's he saying? Nothing. Well, forget it then.
Yeah. Maybe she is a true Costello, and she's actually just lurking in the background, and we've just not noticed her yet.
Behind the door.
And flipping Florenza is the failure of the family because she's just up there and
just in plain sight.
Exactly.
Maybe they're like a family of big feet.
I think you need to have a look at the credits for Friday's episode and find out what her name is, because I feel terrible for not knowing what this daughter's girl is.
Maybe Mrs. Costello is actually Curtis.
Maybe it is.
She's like, I've got a gang to run, okay? I can't be hanging around hospitals.
Anyway, he could have bleeding on the brain, he could have a stroke. Becky's obviously relieved to hear this, but I wouldn't be surprised. Do you expect that he's going to be a vegetable forever, or is he going to be singing like a canary before the end of the year?
No, I don't want to. I like Costello. I really like him.
I don't
think he's got a shelf life after this story, though.
No, I don't think the show would lose anything if anything tragic happened to the character.
How rude.
Nobody's going to be saying, bring back Costello.
I will. I like him.
No, they need fewer police characters, Gemma. Fewer. You know what
All right.
So anyway, Lisa says, well, we're still going to find out who did this to him, so Becky's relief is short-lived. Kit later on tells Lisa that they've had a tip-off that this Dazza soap guy has been seen at his grandma's house, bless him. So,
that's nice.
They go and pick him up and interview him, and he says, this Costello, he's no saint, actually. So, and then he goes down the no comment route, so we get the impression that he knows more about Costello and his bent copperness than he's willing to let on at this stage.
Laney Costello, Aretha Bennett.
Laney. Oh, okay. Interesting name.
Like Lorraine.
Name. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, I've never met a Laney before.
No, I haven't. But I know several Lorraines.
Kit and Lisa get back to Becky's house later. What was I talking about? Becky's house? No. Their house. Lisa's house.
Becky's house. Oh my God. You've let her right into your brain, haven't you?
You know, it's must be her house. She's just walking her way in.
Yeah, she's manipulated Michael very well. He thinks she's
great.
My
notes don't make sense.
And that's her house.
No. Anyway, wherever they were, Kit asks her about Dazza, Lisa, and she says, Kit asks Becky about Dazza, and she still says, no, I've got no idea who he is. Don't know anything about Costello being bent. I think he's a fine stand-up citizen. Actually, thank you very much. Then Carla strides in and says, right, everybody, I've just realised that this is my house. I'm not going finding flats. I'm going to live here, actually. And you two swains can stay in the spare room together. Stuff it up the pipe. I don't know where I was going with that.
Good for you, Carla. I love this. Coming back. Yeah, this is my house, actually. So
well, it's just one person's house over the other, isn't it?
Why should I move out?
Yes. But
good for you.
I don't know.
But then
I'm just finding it difficult to be bothered about Carla being back.
Oh, well, no, I think it's good. She's there. Basically, Kit and Carla go back to the pub, and he's like, right, Darren said Costello was bent. I just need to link him to Becky. And I think that they say that Carla's there so she can keep an eye on her.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
It's not necessarily because she wants to save money on hotels. It's because she wants to get evidence. But here's the question. Does she want evidence against Becky because she wants revenge? Or is she trying to prove to Lisa that Becky is a wrong-un and therefore trying to win her back?
Well, they do still love each other. They've admitted as such, haven't
I know,
they?
But
they haven't said this is a total clean break and I hate you.
Yeah, I know, but you can love somebody and realise you can't be with them
because
of how they treat you.
I don't think the end goal for Carla here is to say, see, I told you, to Lisa.
But that would help her...
And then just say, anyway, I'm off. I think it is part of the...
Maybe it's just me. That's what I'd be like. Right, bye then.
I was right. You were wrong.
Get out of my house.
Yeah. So Friday rolls round and Carla is asking Kit how Lisa is, and he's like, I don't want to get involved. Ask her. I don't want to get involved in your relationship dramas. Thank you very much. I've got proper work to do.
It's not you. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
What's it got to do with me?
Yeah. Becky finds Laney at the hospital later, and she tells her...
Oh, this was slick.
Yes, the iPad
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, I used to know your dad. He used to talk all about you. Yeah, when's your birthday?
You just had your birthday, didn't you? When was that?
And she says, oh, September the 22nd. So that, I think it's her first idea about what's...
And
this is a password, isn't it?
Just out of interest, Lainey, would you say it was 0922 or 2209?
Yeah, which way round does your family like to go with those things? Kit sees Becky there at the hospital too, and she says, oh, I want whoever did this to Costello locked up. But he tells her that she needs to scarp her because she's still supposed to be dead and undercover. But Becky does manage to before she leaves, get the tablet off of this girl, get her to put the password into it so that she can see it. And what do you know, it's the same password to get into the burner phone later.
Why did she still need the girl to put the passcode in, even though she already got the code by asking her when her birthday was?
I don't know whether it was the same thing or not.
What do you think she needs to know the birthday for? I thought she was getting the code.
I think that she thought that maybe it's the birthday, and if it didn't work, then there must be some other way of doing it. But yeah, I thought that was quite slick. Although I would say a little lesson on e-safety might go down well for Lainey at the moment.
Lainey needs to rein it in.
Yeah.
Stop talking to strangers.
Yeah. Lisa gets picked up by Kit at one point, who says, we've got another lead on Costello's phone, and they head off together, and they end up at the precinct where his phone has been taken to the Cash for Gold place. And
the man's like, well, it's not gold, but I'll buy it anyway.
Yeah, why not? And they've also got a copy of the lad's ID who sold it, and it wasn't Dazza, it was some lackey of his that he'd managed to get him to fob off on, yeah. So anyway, so they've got one phone. Becky's got the burner phone still, right? In Victoria Gardens, and she opens it up with the password from earlier, and she's looking through his messages for her own name.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come up.
And so she thinks, oh, he didn't mention me at all. I'd be offended.
But then it was also her name wasn't mentioned on his other phone, literally.
So here's the question: Does she not think that he might be calling her Rebecca or maybe like that bitch or something? I'm sure he's got some nicknames.
Spiky haired Spectre at the feast.
Yeah.
Old green coat. I don't know.
She didn't seem to look any more than just searching her name. I mean, we're supposed to think that... I think this is just Corrie's shorthand of saying there was nothing on the phone about her. But it does feel like she gave up very easily after not seeing the word Becky mentioned at all.
Well, she ends up chucking it in the bin, doesn't she? She takes the SIM card out, puts that down the drain, puts the phone in the bin. And again, I probably would have gone a little bit further afield to deposit.
No, just outside the tram station is a great place to do this.
Why did she need to...
There is a man sitting in that office, even though there's no tram stop in Manchester has anybody that sits in an office. That in Weatherfield he does. He sits in his office and he's watching her going, there's some bollocks going on here, but it's none of my business.
Who was it didn't Jeff drop a SIM card down a drain at some point?
Yeah, probably. It's an abuser's playbook.
Or was it Stephen?
They're always doing... No, he dropped the type in.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking
of.
Good memory, yeah. That went nowhere, didn't it?
Well, this will go nowhere as well.
Could Becky have just skipped over the rigmarole of trying to look on the phone and just said, well, tell you what, I've got his burner phone, I'm going to bin it.
No, because she needs to know what information he's got, but I don't know what she thought he was going to be saying that he hasn't said to her face. Literally bugger off back to Spain.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what goes on there. So she's off the hook for the time being. Carla, meanwhile, is talking with Kit in the pub. And they found out that there's no messages about Becky on that phone either. So Carla's like, well, how on earth did they communicate? This is why I was confused.
They were in the ginnels. They just kept going. They did what normal people would do, which doesn't happen on Coronation Street, where a lot you just meet up. If you're doing something clandestine, you don't put it in writing.
Yeah, they know. Don't get it that they meet up in giddles and alleys. You're right.
Mind you, also on Coronation Street, everybody who could have texted each other does go around and talk to them.
This is true. Well, anyway, at the end of the episode, Kit kind of says, I think in front of Becky, that nothing on the phone. We reckon he had a burner phone, but
we're never going to find
it. Are we? And Becky's quite relieved to hear that. And Lisa says, well, that wasted a couple of episodes, didn't it? I suppose we just better wait until Costello can turn up because nothing happened with that whatsoever.
And she's like, maybe he'll never talk again.
Yeah. So, I mean,
at the moment,
should Becky at this stage go around and try round 2 on finishing him off?
I was going to say, Becky really should go back and try and kill Costello again. I don't know why she hasn't.
Yeah.
Because he's the danger. Because he obviously is gonna. She thinks he's gonna wake up and think that she did this to him, and accuse her. Yeah.
Well, yeah. They weren't on best terms beforehand, were they?
And she what was it the other week? She's going. Oh, I'm going to Spain next week. She's still not gone to Spain.
So, but if he can't kind of publicly accuse her because she's publicly supposed to be dead.
I know,
so
but at
is
this
he going to
point,
set
when you're
somebody
in
on
hospital
her?
and you're dying because of this woman, are you just going to have to like give it up and say this is happening?
I wonder whether
because he threatened her. She threatened his kid as well.
Yeah, I still think that the child is a bit of untapped potential there.
Well, she's
been introduced for a reason.
If she's not held at hostage by Becky before the end of this story, they've missed a trick there, haven't they? I mean, I can see Becky there with Costello kind of gleefully telling him, yes, I was involved in this, and if you don't do what I say, if you don't help me to get Carla back, then I'll do much worse Lisa back, sorry. I'll do much worse next time. Because he can't say anything, he can't tell anyone. What? Becky's going, Costello, you have to help me, otherwise I'll kill you. I need to get Lisa back. And he's like, I don't know, flowers? Have you tried flowers or chocolates? Yes, of course I have.
Are very reasonable. Okay, that story didn't particularly thrill me this week. Will?
Oh man, this was hard. This was tough. I don't like this storyline.
Is it just the fact that it's a icky grooming storyline, or is it the characters that are involved in it? Because I don't necessarily, as twee as it is that it dovetails so perfectly into Tim's drama that has again gone off the radar. I just don't like the fact that this new family have moved into the pub that really we're supposed to be, on the side of. You don't want to put the viewers off the family in front of the Rovers, and they're giving them this kind of dark, seedy. Yeah, seedy is the right word. Story, and it leaves the whole family. It colours them with a bit of a bad impression.
Well,
unfortunately,
he's the victim of this grooming storyline. It's not that he's at fault. It's that
I know, but
it's the sadness of the situation that tarnishes.
Yeah, but I would say that if you're getting a new family, any new landlords in the Rovers, and maybe I need to have a look back and say, well, what was each landlord's first story that they had in charge of the Rovers? I can't imagine that it was anything quite so grisly as this. It all should be about, we've realised that we don't know what to do when the beer runs out, or we've lost Betty's hot pot recipe.
I'm scared of the basement.
Yeah. But this, it doesn't feel right. But hopefully it's not going to be too long until it's all blown out of the water
I don't
anyway.
know. So,
it's also focusing on Will, who I'm going to say isn't the strongest character in my eyes at the moment. Although, tough competition with Ollie there as well. I want to be more focused on why aren't they showing more Eva?
Eva's decorating on Wednesday.
Eva feels like she is decoration. She feels like she's just the extra pretty pink bit on top of this family that don't seem connected to her half the time. I want an Eva story, or maybe even a Ben story. I don't want the lead player in the Driscoll family's first big story to be this kid. I'm afraid. But it is, so I guess I'll just have to deal with it.
On Wednesday, Eva is decking the halls. She doesn't want silver. She doesn't want gold. She don't want pea green.
She wants olive green, doesn't she?
Yeah,
this was fun.
She wants it to be pink and obvious and dual tones. She wants, but
yes.
But Maggie wants tinsel, and she doesn't. So
they're setting the mother-in-law and
as usual
and daughter-in-law off against each other.
Glenda's piggy in the middle.
That was fun.
Because she's being told to put the tinsel up and take it down again, and put it back up again and take it down again.
Well, this is exactly the same as Halloween, wasn't it? Where one wanted one and one wanted the other thing, and it's kind of nice little
tension, relatable tension.
Yeah, this kind of thing is what it all should be, I think, at the moment, not grooming.
Well,
because I enjoyed that immensely, and Eva's great, and I'm really enjoying Maggie.
We also get Will getting a message from Megan saying she's applied for this job at Weatherfield High.
Yes.
We get a bit of this is when Carla and Eve and Susie meet up, and Carla thinks it's hilarious that Susie's painted the bottom of her black shoes red.
You explained this to me the other day, didn't you? But I didn't need it all explaining. What did you say? Is it Le Bouton, did you say? And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I know that's the one with the reds on the bottom of the shoes, because I've learned from the great master of all things shoeish, which is you, over the years.
Yes.
That's what they have.
They do.
And they just kind of
Carla's
laugh
like, you're
about
so like Eva, but I'm like, she's also like you, Carla. Like, don't tell me you don't have some of these in your wardrobe.
I like how she has this big fluffy hood on her coat, does Susie, doesn't she? She's definitely a bit of a designer, yeah.
So in the cafe, Eva's talking to Glenda and says, I just need to get away from Maggie for a little bit. And then Daniel comes in and says, oh, how's Megan? And they're teasing him, and Eva confirms that he's free and single for if they want to get together. And then Eva and Maria have this a standoff because of Will and Liam's underage drinking, and they don't want their kids to socialise with each other because they hate each other and stuff, and they accuse each other of being bad influences and things. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm not too interested in the Will and Liam drama, I have to say.
I think these two women are good enough mums to not be so petty about this, but hey, what do I know?
Oh, I don't mind that they're at each other's throats. I mean, a good Cobbles cat fight is a bread and butter of Coronation Street.
Do you think they're being set up for the new, Gail and Eileen?
Well, I don't know whether we're going to have a fountain scrap round 2, but they can't afford the location shoot, so they just have to do it in the little pond in Carla and Lisa's garden.
That bridge is not sturdy enough. Right, so in the pub later, Daniel's like, okay, right, this is what to say in the interview, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, he's given her all the top advice about how to get in Weatherfield High. And Will is watching them from behind the counter behind the bar with completely unsubtle expressions on his face of like, I want to wring your neck. He just is fuming, isn't he? I've never seen anybody with such an exaggeratedly
overtly angry.
Ah!
I'm trying to keep my emotions under control here, but I just can't.
I can't.
But he is a teenager. They do struggle with their hormones, don't they?
Well, he sees Daniel asking her out, and she agrees for a date. And then Megan and Will meet out the back, and she's like, look, I've got to get this job, You want me to get this job. I'm operating my whole life to come here. This is difficult for both of us, but we need to think about the end plan.
I wonder what sort of things they ask PE teachers in the job interviews. Like, how much do you hate children?
Loads.
At least 9 out of 10. Oh, you got the job then.
Yeah, loads.
How much do you enjoy torturing poor children and making them do the bleep test until they pass out?
Love it.
Yeah, exactly. And how much do you just belittling those weeds that actually don't have athletic talent as you?
Loads.
You got the job, Megan. I think that's all it takes, really.
Okay.
Standard safeguarding question here.
Would you be in a relationship with a pupil? Yes or no? No. Right, there you go. It's all sorted out.
Would you agree or disagree with the statement that it's okay for a PE teacher to do that because
they're not
PE
really
teachers are not really teachers, exactly.
You are being very cruel to your fellow professionals.
Well, I've got some hang-ups from PE teachers from secondary school from my own experience there. I can't lie.
I think
Mr. Burton.
I hate to say this, but I do think if you've got a bad story about a teacher from school, it's like 80% of the time going to be a PE teacher.
Me?
No, in general.
Oh, people in general, yeah.
I've got bad stories about PE teachers as well.
They're just sadistic, aren't
they?
It's
because children don't like exercising.
I don't know how much things have changed these days. And they make you go through the showers.
Yeah, we had such struggles with showers.
My PE teachers just absolutely hated me. I'm sure this is no surprise to anybody that I wasn't the most athletic of children, although I was very, very good at the 100 metres.
You were very fast.
I was second in my year group, Mark Creswell. And I don't think the PE teachers who just despised my lack of sporting prowess, I don't think they ever really liked the fact that there was one thing that I was quite good at.
Oh, I see. You think they were jealous?
No, I just don't think that they like to admit that I was okay at things.
Well, one small thing. They could have just been disappointed that you didn't utilise your potential.
Oh, they just shout, don't they? And I'm sorry,
they've got a whistle.
I am colleagues with somebody who's a very, very good PE teacher, and he's not like that at all. So I am kind of.
I've got a friend
in jest here.
Who is a very sporty teacher type.
Yeah, but I've got bad memories. The showers was the worst. They would literally. I remember when Jonathan Comiskey was caught not having a shower, and they made him go through the shower in his clothes.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
The teacher did.
Yeah. They're like, you're trying to sneak out without having your shower. Through you go. Getting your clothes all wet. I hated it. When in my secondary school, I had one shower. I think my very first games lesson, I had a shower the first week, and every week after that, I managed to avoid it. And we would always like go to the sink and get our hair wet and try and get out of it. But just horrible memories. But I'm sure Megan isn't like that at all. I'm sure she's one of these modern PE teachers.
She's just a paedophile.
A PE-dophile.
No. Right. So,
anyway, so that's how you get a job interview as a PE teacher, apparently.
Yeah, and you have to tell the difference between football and basketball.
Yeah.
Right. So Will's like, I just want to be
tell the difference.
a proper couple. I just want to hide everything, and she says it'll happen eventually. So, Liam and Will come back from football because they got sent off because Will was being tackling and horrible.
Oh yeah, they're covered in mud, aren't they? Yeah. Because he's mad. He's mad about Megan, and he was taking out his pent-up teenage rage on his opponents on the pitch.
Yeah. So they start talking about, Will's got a girlfriend, and he gets really defensive and angry, and he jabs Liam in the chest, and Maria sees it and strides over, takes Liam into the pub and has a go at Eva about what was going on.
How do you think we're supposed to feel about Will at the moment? Because I'm sure lots of us have got feelings about Will. But are we supposed to feel sorry for him? Is he supposed to be...
I reserve the right, okay.
Are we supposed to be saying, oh, poor Will, he's
I
lovely.
reserve the right to dislike people that are in bad situations. I think it's really toxic for everybody to expect people to be nice about people that are in this situation. It creates this really toxic conception of the ideal victim, the perfect victim, okay? Only people that are good and noble and... completely blameless in everything, they're the only real victims, and everybody else, because there are people who are problematic I'm not saying this about Will, but there are people who are terrible people that have terrible things happen to them. It doesn't make it any less bad.
Yeah.
We should allow people to be three-dimensional, and this is what's happening with some big political stories at the moment, where you've got victims who are women who are being put under the microscope, and they did this and they did that, and they haven't said the right thing. We got to let people just be humans that have bad things happen to them, and we don't have to like everybody, but we do have to stand up for them. So Will, I don't like him at all, but obviously he is the victim here, and Megan deserves everything that's coming to her.
You could have still had this storyline where somebody was being taken advantage of by a PE teacher or by a coach or whatever, and then still be likeable and still be like, yeah, almost like naively likeable. And they're not
haven't done
wanting,
it that way.
They're just having him, in my mind, Will at the moment is not much more. There's not much more to his personality than typical Corrie teenager, a bit full of hormones and anger. So I'm reserving judgment until the storyline's out the way. Because
you don't know what they're leading to with it. He could get violent with people. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was giving Liam a good old prod in the chest, wasn't he? That's what's making me wonder. But I don't know. Time will tell.
Wow.
What else?
Maggie's not here. Doesn't want to hear Maria denigrate her grandson, and she's like, "It's just a football. You don't need to get your mammies involved. Just get."
Oh yeah.
Which I get. I kind of agree with. Really, it's like, why are we talking about this? They're kids. They sort it out themselves. This is what being a kid's about. You got to give them time.
Scrap it out, and there'll be less debates.
You do have to give them space to sort out their own problems. You can't just swoop in. So, I know about all this, I've got lots of experience. So, Ollie's talking to Will about the scrap, and he says, look, I'm just missing home, don't worry about it. And Ollie's like, oh, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah.
But I might be doing something with apricot jam.
Will and Ollie together in the scene. Like, I'd rather see Michael and James, but maybe that's just with, 5 years plus of experience of the Bailey boys. But I'm not getting TV Gold vibes when the two of them are in a scene together at the moment.
On Friday, they're talking about it's Maggie's 65th
birthday. That's a coincidence, isn't
next week, which coincides very neatly with the anniversary of Coronation Street's
Well, it
first
almost
episode.
does. If only there was an episode on Tuesday, which is the actual 65th anniversary of Coronation
the 9th
Street.
of December.
Yes, but yeah, they're going to have Monday's episode be Maggie's 65th. What are your thoughts about that?
I cannot wait to see this cake, because Ollie's supposed to be making a cake and Maggie keeps changing her mind, and I think the main drama is going to revolve around the cake.
I think so. I think there might be a bit more drama than that on Monday, I'm just going to say. But yeah, do you like the idea that they've got this brand new character in and saying, oh, she's as old as the show?
They're really investing in the Driscolls, but they do that with all of their new characters. They invest so much into them. You know, Lisa with Carla, Lauren with Roy and the kidnapping, and Joel and the murder and everything.
They couldn't have done it with anyone else, like an existing character, say, oh, look, they're 65 the same day as Coronation Street. What are the chances? Because we know when their birthdays are, and I don't think there's anyone of a similar age. So it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's quite neat, I suppose.
It's
to
a
think
clever way of tying them into a celebration.
Yeah, but it does make me wonder if in the future, you know, is Maggie's canonical date of birth going to be the 8th of December, or is it going to be the 9th of December? And even though it's going to be the 8th of December that we see
for Corrie, isn't it?
We're going to see it on the 8th of December. But really, we're all going to know, no, it's the same as Coronation Street, it's the 9th.
Maybe they will just wrong first and go, no, her birthday is the day before.
Well, maybe there'll be something in the dialogue that says, oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday. Just so everybody knows.
Or she'll say, I don't know why you've made me this cake. It's my birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll...
and Ollie's going, I don't know what cake to make you.
I think it's a really nice touch. I really do.
So Ollie's supposed to be making this. I've also noticed, who was it? Daniel and Megan having their lunch in the pub. They weren't having a hot pot. Ollie's new menu is in full swing here. I do not know what they were eating, but I want to know.
Yeah, it was something salady, wasn't it? One of them had. I don't know.
Well, they always have a side salad with the hot pot. For
anyway, Maggie's trying to decide what jam that she wants on her cake, and she doesn't want raspberry jam because the pips get stuck in her teeth. And I hear you there, Maggie.
Yeah, but you don't like apricot jam either.
Oh, apricot jam in the middle of a cake.
But you don't like jam.
I'd have strawberry jam.
Yeah, you
I might have blackberry at a push.
This really frustrates me.
But if you're going to make me a cake with any kind of jam in, just make it a strawberry and save worrying whether I'm going to like it or not.
Because I make very nice peach and very nice plum jam, and Michael will not eat it.
No.
We have pot and marmalade. We have dozens of pots of homemade jam, which is absolutely delicious.
Well, I'm just letting you enjoy it all yourself.
I don't eat breakfast.
A jar of jam a week.
Right, so...
Anyway, so she settles on her apricot cake, doesn't she? But later on she wants one with...
purple icing, because it's very regal.
I know that she's got an interesting delivery, does Pauline, but I'm enjoying it. She goes, I write purple, it's regal. This is the face that she pulls when she's saying it. I just find
like a
quite
pirate.
amusing.
I think she's great. Yeah, she's very animated. I love her.
She's very animated in the face.
Yeah.
And I can see how it might put some people off, but I am still continually enjoying Maggie, and I'm looking forward to seeing her birthday dramas next week.
Yeah, let's see what happens next week. So Megan's gone for the interview, and I'll just say she got it.
She got the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she got the job. Who'd have thought?
She finds this out when she's having her lunch with Daniel. Daniel manages to fit 2 meals into his day.
We were trying to figure out on Friday.
Before the sun goes down.
Yeah, we were trying to find out on Friday what time of the day anything was happening with. Because the sun's, it's getting dismal around 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, weren't they? And I don't know whether he just had a free period on that day or something, but he spent an awful lot of time not at school on a working day.
Maybe that's why Megan
his
wants
hopeful
to
girlfriend was having a job interview.
Work at Weatherfield High. So,
yeah,
you guys don't do anything.
Maybe that's one of the questions in the interview. What are the perks of working at Weatherfield High? Wow.
Oh, wow. It's for you.
We have frequent gas leaks, so the school is closed.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. are your core working hours.
Treble the amount of inset days in the year.
We really expect you to be in school between 10 and 2, but don't forget there is a lunch break.
Yeah, and also we fund breakfasts in the cafe every morning.
Yeah, we want you to mark your work in the cafe, really.
Yeah, it's surprised that we don't have more than 3 members of staff at the school, but...
Yeah. We just let the kids do their own thing.
Yeah, it's a very small school. We only have one corridor here, so everybody really knows each other.
Yeah, we don't let the kids do lessons, really. Find it a bit of a waste of time because they all just work at the barn shop.
Yeah, and there's only the occasional mad murderer that escapes from prison and comes and terrorises us in their office.
But before you get any funny ideas, Megan, one thing we absolutely do not tolerate, and we will not have at this school, is deputy heads being sick on people at the nativity.
No, we learned our lesson when we had that.
We're not having that happen again, so, don't eat anything before the school play.
I think that was at Bessie Street, I think.
Oh, wow.
Gemma,
okay, I've got my schools mixed up. Yes. I feel like an idiot.
So anyway, congrats, Megan, I'm sure. Do you think that... How far do you think it's going to go? Because Megan is saying to Will, look, I'm only kind of playing along here. I'm not really interested in Daniel. Do you think that there is going to be a proper kiss between Megan and Daniel on the horizon? Is her head going to be turned by his suave charms?
Huh? Going to be turned.
Turned.
No, I don't know.
He's an attractive guy. He's
not that bothered.
He's good with the ladies. He particularly likes a blonde once he's got his sights set on her.
She doesn't seem like a fluffy cardi girl.
It's because it's like, does she love Will? She's telling him that she does.
I do not know. But
it's all a bit gross and icky, and that's what it's supposed to be. Might she? And she says to Will later, "Oh, it's your maturity that turned me on to you." Is she going to realise, actually, there's a normal guy my age here who's offering himself on a plate to me? Know. Maybe I should just do that and cut my losses. Although she probably does know as well that she's kind of trapped. Because just imagine if she dumped him, Will, it does seem to be the sort that would, if he thought it was...
He's hot-headed.
He'd fight for her, but he's the sort that's going to stir up trouble and report her to Corrie.
Well, Maggie might get it out. He's got a very close family and they might get it out of him as well.
Well, they're all being very blind to it at the moment, aren't they?
I don't think you would...
No, I don't think you would suspect. I don't think they've got enough evidence.
You can't. People, this is why they get away with it, because you expect certain things of people, and there are so many safeguarding things put in place. She shouldn't be alone with this kid as much as she is in official capacities.
No, in your interview, in your job interview, you will get standard safeguarding questions, and I'd almost like to have seen Orla interviewing her just to see
what kind of questions would you be asked? Can you think of an example?
Oh, you just do things like, well, what would you do if a child made a disclosure to you, or why would you say that safeguarding is important in schools, or what are some signs of? Tell me about some signs of abuse that you might recognise. What are the different signs of abuse? One of which being sexual abuse, and I would have. It would have been, we didn't see Miss Crawshaw this week, did we?
But it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing is wrong. They both understand.
Yeah, which is why I would quite like to have seen her sweat as she was answering those questions.
I think it would have been interesting to see how cool-headed she would be about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I think we've kind of covered a lot of what
let me say, because she gets the job on the phone, and then, hooray, and then Eva comes over, grabs some mistletoe, holds it over their head, so that Daniel, does he dip her and kiss her? I can't remember. But I think again, she does resist a little bit. Oh! So then Daniel invites Megan back to his place so they can have some more food. Because, he can't eat when it's dark, apparently. And he's just glowering, and she's trying to put him off.
She doesn't go to his flat, does she? She makes her excuses.
Okay. Will has a go at Megan around the back of the Rovers for flirting with Daniel, and she says, look, I thought you were grown up. I thought you were mature. But you are being jealous and childish, and it's putting me off.
I'm not surprised that Will is reacting this way, because he doesn't understand the situation, does he?
What is there to understand about this?
He's seeing his girlfriend as he sees her.
She's going, I'm just playing a part because I need the job. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't like this story.
Yes. Well, that's the end of that then, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was all that happened. Okay, then.
Yeah, sorry, I've moved on already in the notes.
Dee-Dee parting. So we saw, was it last week, she was having a look at Singapore on a laptop, which she hurriedly closed down when Adam came and sat next to her. Well, that all kind of
go to Singapore.
What's there?
Lovely food.
Like?
I don't know.
No, name me one dish.
I can't remember.
Noodles.
There's a channel that I watch called Dancing Bacons.
Bacons?
Dancing Bacon or Dancing Bacons or something. And I think they're from Singapore, and they just go around and eat delicious food.
Okay. You probably, Gemma does often pick a holiday destination based on the prospect of what fine cuisine you'll be able to partake of whilst there, or don't you? Let's be real.
Yeah.
You've got a very experimental palate. You like to there's nothing wrong with
it's
it.
It's not experimental if you're from Singapore. It's just food, isn't it?
I'm not saying that you're going around gluttoning yourself. You like to try different foods.
You know I do. I am a pig.
No, you're not. Right. Dee-Dee. What is there to say? She's finding Ollie getting a little bit too close for comfort when he's painting this beautiful picture of them having a happy life forever and ever, and maybe next year they'll be able to have Christmas together. And she's like, whoa, hold on, soldier. I think you're going a bit too fast here. And I did think that at the time, I don't know, it makes sense in a way that Dee-Dee is a bit scared of commitment after the whole Joel being a murderer kind of thing. But then equally, I don't know, I thought that she felt that she was onto Mr. Right here, and maybe she would like the idea. Because I think Dee-Dee is the sort that would... She's not the sort of lady who's just, up for a couple of flings and, just for a bit of fun. And I think that when she enters into a relationship, she means it and she wants commitment, don't you?
Yes.
So
I was thinking about Singapore food. I've looked it up.
Oh, there you go.
Chicken... You remember that Hainanese chicken rice that I make sometimes? That is their national dish.
What is?
That Hainanese chicken rice where you have
is.
the chicken, you poach the chicken, and then you make a little soup, and then you have it with the spring onion and ginger sauce in oil. And
there we go. Dee-Dee
you have the pandan, you put the rice with the pandan leaves, and then it's delicious. I love it.
I think the real reason that Dee-Dee wants to drop Ollie isn't anything to do with this Singapore. It's just because he's a bit of a bore.
I bet you Ollie would like. I bet you Ollie would be like, Singapore, I love chicken rice. Let's go. And she'd be like, you're not invited.
I don't know what the most bland thing is, Ollie or a dome of rice.
How rude. No, it's not. It's cooked with pandan leaves.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
cook
still
you that
waiting
all the time. Why are you being horrible about it?
I'm just saying rice in general. It's a side dish.
It's part of the dish. It's the whole food. Cook the chicken. You cook the rice in the chicken fat.
I'm very, as well, willing to be changed, in my opinion, on Ollie at the moment. But really, Corrie has done not a single thing to make him in any way an interesting character.
It feels to me like they've panicked and gone, he doesn't have a personality. What should we do? Let's make him a chef.
Yeah.
And on Coronation Street, I'm going to say, the chefs are always really boring, po-faced bores. Like Zidane was, and
Robert,
he was boring.
Yeah, they can be a bit obsessive over it, can't they?
Yeah.
If you're a chef. But yeah, I'm sorry, Ollie. It's early days, but first impressions aren't great. And it's a shame because Raph we met on the press day and he was lovely.
Yeah.
But
he
seems unnecessary at the moment.
It's no reflection on any of the actors. If their character, we don't like them. I think we said that about 1,000,000 times. People still get upset, but it's nothing to do with you can only read the lines you've been given, and so far Ollie...
It's just odd that it was kept secret for so long, and it was supposed to be a big twist, like, hey, Dee-Dee's boyfriend is actually one of the new members of the pub family, and now 3-4 weeks later they're not even together anymore. So what was the point? I don't know. But anyway, Dee-Dee is what's going on? They're just there was a whole thing on Wednesday about James taking Layla to go and see Father Christmas, which she gets a little bit knocked off at. But I think it was mostly just supposed to be reminding us about the whole co-parenting situation, which seems to have dropped off a cliff somewhat since it was first introduced, because the Baileys haven't been centre stage. So she's kind of a bit narked, but also I guess now thinking about it, she's thinking, well, I'm going to get a job in Singapore. This is going to be a little bit awkward.
Who's she talking about?
James. You're looking at Singaporean food on your phone again, aren't you?
Yeah.
James took Layla to see Father Christmas. She wishes that she'd taken him to see Father Christmas. Well, tell you what, you can take Layla to see your first nativity, Dee-Dee, and then it's even Stevens.
Yeah, why is she worried about Father Christmas? She should be worried about Jesus.
Yeah.
Baby Jesus.
Exactly. How much of that is going on? How Christian a country is Singapore? Probably not very, I'm going to say. Anyway, Ollie asked Dee-Dee later again about this spending Christmas together, and she says, no, actually, I don't really want to. You need to drop it. And then when he goes off to take a phone call, Alia sidles up to Dee-Dee and says, what's going on between you two then? And Dee-Dee says, look, he's just looking a bit too far ahead in the future at the moment. And Alia says, well, I think that you're just too scared of getting hurt. So Dee-Dee realises there's no point stringing this poor lad along. And when he comes back from his phone call, she says, this isn't working, you're dumped. She's not quite so cutthroat as that.
If you want to know, it's 31% Buddhist, 20% no religion, 18.9% Christian.
Oh, that's not so bad for her,
15.6% Islam, 8.8% Taoism, 5% Hinduism.
She will find her people there. Anyway, she dumps him. That's all.
Bye.
And James says to Dee-Dee later on, what's going on, why'd you dump Ollie? And she's like, well, I've got a secret actually, but I'm going to reveal it on Friday's episode because it's nearly the end of this.
If I was her, I'd go, have you met him?
Well, all the Baileys seem to be thinking the sun's shining out of Ollie's ass, don't they? Because they all meet him on Friday's episode and say, you're a great guy.
They're almost like, look, Ollie, we've picked you over Dee-Dee.
I think that, sorry to say, James and Michael and Ed, it's like, yeah, people keep thinking that we're boring as well, but we're great.
Come and join
and join the group of people who are really great, but people say are boring.
Please. Come over here. And he's so boring. He's like, I don't want any food. I'll just sit here with my drink.
Yeah, they meet up with him, don't they? And
he probably won't eat there. He's probably like, this food is foul. They use fake truffle oil.
You was criticising him for leaving his coat on the back of his seat when he went over to the Baileys, didn't they? Anyway, Friday's episode with this story is just going along the lines of what we find out about Dee-Dee and the fact that she wants to go off to Singapore, wasn't it? And there's a little bit of Ollie getting a bit miserable about it, and Maggie sitting around the back of the Rovers and saying, are you having problems of a sexual nature? And that was interesting as well, because I'm wondering, are Dee-Dee and Ollie sleeping together? Has Dee-Dee decided, well, I've had a baby now, might as well drop that?
I'm not getting into it.
So, I mean, as far as Ollie's concerned, he is having a problem with a sexual nature.
I don't know if he's not having breached the dams.
I don't know. But Maggie says nobody messes with my boys, so I think that Dee-Dee has got a bit of a target on her back now.
Yeah.
So maybe Maggie's going to bump her off before she can even get to Singapore.
Oh no.
Who knows? Anyway,
Singapore Law Firm Inc. will be very disappointed.
I know. I don't know why. What is it? Because she tells earlier about this, doesn't she?
But she goes, I'm on more money. I'm doing less work. Luckily, my qualifications in British law
I suppose
are
the fact that
transferable.
she spent a good few years living in LA means that she's not a stranger to getting a job anywhere in the world.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, because she says, this is the big confession at the end of the episode. Yeah, I'm going to Singapore. My family don't know yet. Neither does Adam. James can't find out because I need to figure out what we're doing with this whole co-parenting situation. I'm going to suggest, Dee-Dee, that maybe you take James with you because, bless him,
you're mean.
New James hasn't worked out for me.
You're horrible.
I'm not horrible. I'm just telling it like it is. New James is not that great, I don't think. So, Dee-Dee, just do us a favour and buy an extra ticket, will you?
I think Singapore's a good place to go.
Do you think it's
got very good high life expectancy?
How's the crime rate? Is Dee-Dee going to have work there?
It's a hub for, off the top of my head, it's a tax haven and a major hub for financial aviation and maritime shipping.
Oh, there we go. Perfect for Dee-Dee. I just feel
she
like
loves a bit of maritime shipping, doesn't she?
I wonder whether Dee-Dee is going to end up going, if indeed she does go to Singapore, will she have a bit of a cloud over her head in that this is quite a cruel thing to do to James, isn't it?
Just kidnapping his daughter.
Yeah, if they are agreed co-parents.
Again, we knew this would happen though. Yeah.
Like, this is proper cruel.
Yeah.
And Dee-Dee's going to play the, well, she's not really your daughter card, it feels like, doesn't it? And that's nasty. Yep. And having her go off, Dee-Dee was, is supposed to be a lovely, kind-hearted, beloved Christian character. And now she's just saying, oh, well, I want to go to Singapore. You can come and visit if you like.
Yeah.
That's proper mean
Not
to James.
Not too often, though.
And I don't particularly relish the scenes of James being a bit upset about it, being comforted by the Bailey boys. It just seems a bit... Yeah, but anyway, we will have to see where the land lies with that in a few weeks and whether she is indeed going to Singapore or not. Time will tell.
90%, well, what would you say? percentages of a character going, I'm going to X, that they actually go. It's like 95%.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jenny, when she was supposedly going to Canada and then also supposedly going to Thailand with Uncle Stephen, that fell through a little bit. But on the whole...
That's the 5%.
Well, you know, if Corrie is going to set up, because we said at the top of the episode, how many characters this year have decided to emigrate on a whim, and they've all done it. So if a character is saying, I'm emigrating, then is it any surprise that the viewers go, well, okay, then off they go. And actors have spoken about the fact that characters aren't having exit stories so much anymore.
Yep.
This is feeling like the sort of thing that we are getting used to in Coronation Street. Characters saying, I'm buggering off abroad. So it feels like she is. But of course, we're a spoiler-free podcast and we couldn't possibly say any more. So on to Roy's story, Gemma. Pros and cons.
Great. You love it, don't you?
I did. I actually asked listeners, and I know that you're not all big fans of AI, but I did ask ChatGPT to rate and explain my storyline titles earlier on today, just for fun.
I think the lowest you got was 3 out of 5, wasn't it? It was a big fan.
It didn't like the Kevin Pubster storyline title.
Because it didn't know it was Kevin Webster.
No, it told me that Pros and Cons was my best one of the week. And I agree. I'm pretty pleased with this one. I will sometimes post my notes into ChatGPT just to see what it thinks about it. And when I asked it specifically about the storyline titles today, it told me that one of its highlights of the week was finding out what puns. I know it's all real. I know I'm not really making it laugh, but I know that some people say that ChatGPT can be a little bit of a toady, but it gave me a bit of a smile earlier to think that I'm making this little AI happy.
Getting in hot water here.
I'm trying to ask Thomas Robot weird things about it, and it's just remaining slowly silent. So.
But just to be clear, you make them up yourself. You don't get AI
I do not get AI to make up my storyline titles.
And you can we can tell.
We can tell by what a stretch they are sometimes, for sure.
Right, so...
I did an alternate one for the Dee-Dee storyline this week, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, you tell us about Roy, and I'll try and remember.
It's very important.
It's very vital that the listeners know.
So, Monday...
I told you it was the Dee-Dee Mega Dun-Dun. Because she's done with Weatherfield, but that's a bit of a deep cut there, really. But I'm sure some of you will get it. Anyway, sorry. Pros and cons. What's Roy up to?
On Monday, Shona and Nina noticed that Roy is distracted. He's messing up orders. He doesn't want to talk about why. He goes out for a walk. And Nina says that Roy was tense after opening his post. And Shona says, well, we need to look at it ourselves and see what's going on. And Nina says, no way! She comes downstairs with the envelopes.
Definitely don't open these, Shona. This is all on you.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that Shona, this is the sort of thing that Shona would do. And I think under any other characters, you think this has gone a bit too far.
But not with Shona.
Not with Shona. It's like, brain injury, what can you do? And it's because I wanted to know what the letter said.
Exactly.
I was like, not the right thing to do, but go on, what does it say? What does it say?
This is what Joy's Costello has to look forward to, and he comes out of his coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a letter from Alice, isn't it?
Yeah, so Roy comes in just as they're looking at these, and all they get to see is the name Alice.
Which, for me, I jumped on completely the wrong conclusion in my nerdy ways, because I was saying, hang on a minute, Alice... Oh my gosh.
You've done that a few times.
Sorry, I just knocked the mouse off. Alice was the name of the person who is Richard's sister, I think.
So Richard is Roy's half-brother.
Yes. And Nina's dad.
Yeah.
And Alice is the sister. So
he's not related to Alice.
No. This was Alice Parrott. And I remember I said to her, and I was like, I think she's called Alice Parrott, because who would forget a name like that? And it was. And she made one appearance. And I thought that they were bringing back that character, but it seems not. Unless Roy is lying, which he doesn't do. But this Alice is actually the mother of the prisoner that he's writing to, that he referred to last week, right?
So this Alice, if it was Alice Parrott, it would be more of relation to Nina.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's not. Apparently not. It's just another Alice.
There's no reason...
Which does make me think it's giving more credence to the Emmerdale theory, because Roy already having a relationship, to some extent. Like there is in the Roy sphere, there is already an Alice character, and with a whole world of names to come up with, why would they come up with a name for this character that Roy already knows somebody called that?
Yeah, I get
Unless they were saying, well, we've got to call her Alice because this is Samson Dingle's mum who's called Alice.
I can't remember who it is, but somebody in Emmerdale has got the same name as the main character in Corrie, and whenever I'm scrolling through my timeline, every now and then I'll be like, they did what? Oh,
really?
I can't remember who it is.
What, like just the first name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wonder how much Coronation Street and Emmerdale have to be careful not to name characters.
I don't think until now they've had to worry about it.
No, I mean, I'm not even just talking about first name, about full name. Like, how many first name similarities are there in Emmerdale and Coronation Street? And if there aren't many, is that a conscious choice between the writers of the two soaps? We don't want our two soaps to have characters with the same names.
Yeah, you'd be like, you can't have an Audrey, you can't have a Gail, you can't have
I know
Roy.
there's obviously a David because there's David's shop there. But Coronation Street, I've not seen many Marlons or Bears.
You're not having
or
Carla.
Paddies walking in the streets of Weatherfield. And is that just because they don't want to have characters? Because obviously you can't... Coronation Street characters, you'll have multiples over the years that have got the same name. But literally, when they brought back... what was his name? Alex... Michelle's son by birth,
right.
They had to call him Ali because there was already an Alex at the cafe on the show. So they don't like characters having the same name at the same time. And this is also what makes the Billy situation a little bit awkward to write lines about, I'm sure, for Todd. But how much do Emmerdale and Corrie writers say, no, we've got a Bob, sorry, you can't have one. The fans won't understand it.
I think they do the same with EastEnders though. Like... Nobody, I don't know, are there any, like, real big names on there that are the same as...
I don't know, I'm just kind of interested in that now.
Is it just
Did
because...
they purposefully avoid names because they're in other soaps?
You know, soaps have their individual fans, like we're just Corrie, we only watch Corrie and so, but, like, as an industry, it's kind of very incestuous because people go from, you know, not the actors so much, really, but behind the scenes, people work on... both, don't they?
So I'm just having a look at a current Emmerdale cast list at the moment. There's a Sam, so that's shared with Sam on Coronation Street. But I'm just having a look, and I'm struggling to find any other current Emmerdale character. Oh, there's a Sarah Sugden, so we've got a Sarah on Coronation Street as well. There's a Matty in Emmerdale, and we've kind of got a Matty in Coronation Street. But yeah, on the whole, I think it's fair to say that characters don't share names across soaps. Oh, there's a Tracy in Emmerdale. Tracy Robinson, been on the show since 2014. And there's a Carl. Okay, maybe there's a little bit. But anyway, interesting thought.
I think
just
the
to
person...
pad out the podcast, not that it needs it.
The person I was talking about, who I keep seeing on my timeline, is Kev. There's a Kev in Emmerdale.
Is there? Okay.
And he's up to no good or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
But he's talked about frequently. Right, so...
Who's this Alice on Roy's mailing list anyway?
Roy tells them that Alice is the mother of the guy that he's been corresponding with who is in prison. And another letter's come in from her and it's got romantic undertones and he's like a bit... bamboozled.
Yeah, he's a bit of sixes and sevens about this because he thought that it was just a woman,
just a woman.
He's not going to have any romantic feelings towards her, is he? He's he only got eyes for Hayley, but she's coming on a bit strong for him here.
Well, Shona says that you need to be upfront with her and tell her, and he says, "I don't know that I can," and they say, "Oh, we'll help you."
And then it doesn't go any further during the week.
I'm just looking at Alice Dingle.
There you go. Yeah, so you've googled Alice Dingle.
Is she in it now?
No, she wasn't in it. She has not been in it for 20 years or so.
So who's the actress?
I don't know.
I know, but is she acting still? So she's Ursula Holden Gill.
Yeah. Born 1974, so that puts her quite a bit younger than Roy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these letter writing relationships, they can cross all boundaries.
Been in CBBC's Wolf Blood in 2014.
Have a look at her IMDb.
Yeah, I know.
While I tell you about the Asher storyline this week, and then we'll decide whether or not we're going to be seeing a grand comeback of Alice Dingle and the Corriedale story. And everyone will just go, who? Anyway, Dev on Monday is preparing the house for Asher to come back because that jigsaw clearly did the trick last week. And to get a long story short, he just devs it right up by overly fussing around her, telling her, plumping up her cushions and telling her she can have everything that she wants. And she gets fed up of being the subject of his attention and storms upstairs, but then little bit sheepishly comes down later and says, look, sorry Dad, maybe I overreacted to your care and love. I was just a bit worried about coming home. I've changed and I still don't know whether I want to be a paramedic yet, actually. And he's like, okay, honey, if you do whatever you want. I mean, yeah, that was basically it.
What am I supposed to be looking up? What would you want me to look up?
What was the last thing that Amy Dingle's actress
In the
acted
Dark,
in?
one episode in 2017.
Okay. Well, you never know. You never know. She might be back on Coronation Street.
I think this...
And Emmerdale in the near future.
I think that she is this character in Teachers. So this character, I don't know, what was she like in Emmerdale?
I don't know. Look, I don't think we need to go down this rabbit hole any further. We need to tie up Street.
But no, my question is, right, they're not going to bring back the character of Alice Dingle, who hasn't been acting since 2017, for a subplot with Roy Cropper because he's...
You never know.
But wouldn't it be weird though? But my impression, she was in 45 episodes or something of Emmerdale, and I don't know anything about her. Was she beloved? Don't know. There have been people in Corrie that have been in fewer than 50 episodes that we've loved. We did a Patreon episode about it. If you're interested,
nice.
You can make make a big impression with a very few number of episodes. Is Alice Dingle the kind of character that people would lose their minds like, oh my god, they brought back Alice Dingle? Or are they going to be like, who's this?
Yet another Dingle. Who knows? Maybe we will find out. Maybe we won't. And it's just a massive red herring and yet another clickbait story that we've fallen for. But, we've learned, we poo-pooed the Carl is actually Debbie's secret son clickbait a couple of months ago. And now we're right on that train.
100% in it.
How are you rating this week's Coronation Street, Gemma? And how much of Monday's shine is taken away by the so-so-ness of Wednesday and Friday?
I gave Wednesday and Friday bog standard. I wasn't super psyched about them. I'm getting a bit bogged down in all of these issue storylines that are like really super sad, and the Swala stuff is.
The Swala stuff didn't hit the right notes for me this week, but the Todd and Theo story still did. I'm gonna say.
It feels grubby to again, we've spoken about this last week. It feels really grubby to be like, I love that. I thought that was great. And it's about something terrible that's happened to people in real life. But it's a story, Titanic was the most popular movie in the world for years, and that is about a bunch of people drowning. So
that's all there is.
Yeah.
So everyone goes there to wait for, isn't it?
Well, people were just waiting for that bit.
Come on, 2 hours in, when's the boat going to sink?
Come on, crack it open.
Right, my character of the week this week it can only be the brilliantly trolleyed Debbie Webster, exactly. So there's another 2 points for you there, Webster. She was absolute joy, but everyone on Monday needs a very good pat on the back for that story. And I am going to give this week's Coronation Street, it's really, really tricky because the Debbie one, if it had been all like that and it had carried on at that quality, we'd be looking at 4.5 here. But,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But I think it's...
that episode.
Yeah, I don't know whether it can keep it dragged up enough because...
I'd give the other 2 3.
Yeah,
so I'll give it 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. I'm going to give it 3.5 problems of a sexual nature out of 5.
I thought you were going to give it 3.5 bad Mr. Twit impressions.
Oh yeah,
but what does Mr. Twit? I didn't think there was a canon Mr. Twit impression.
Right, everybody. Have you seen on Netflix what on earth they have done with the Twits? I'm outraged at this. The Twits is a beloved British institution and one of the only Roald Dahl stories that Hollywood hasn't messed up. And now they've made some god-awful American version of the Twits where Mrs. Twit is absolutely nothing like the woman that's on the classic Quentin Blake book cover. They've managed to stretch a story which is... I admit it, relatively thin, but still fun to read to a kid before bedtime. And now they've made a horrible, horrible, horrible Netflix movie version of it that bears no resemblance. Roald Dahl is 100% spinning in his grave. I know he didn't really like any of his adaptations, did he? Definitely didn't like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
There's a few notable things he didn't like as well that we won't get into.
Yes, but I think on the whole...
It's called The Twits, The Terrible Tale of Twitlandia.
Well, I don't know whether that's just a subheading for
Yeah.
one of the markets. But look at
The
Mrs.
markets?
Twit. For various markets, they might add a subheading. I don't think we need that here. Because we know what the twits are. But that's just luring us in to watch this horrible twit film. And I've not seen the film. I've seen the trailer. And that's enough for me to know that they have stomped all over my childhood here. Because the twits
rubbish.
is an institution. How many Roald Dahl stories have actually made good films? I mean, The Witches, that was another one. I think I quite like The Witches, but I imagine Roald Dahl didn't like that either.
The original Witches, and they changed the ending.
They did. Well, it was the old lovely Jane Horrocks character that they added into that, wasn't it? I do like her.
of Inkland.
That was a good film. But then they remade The Witches a few years ago, set in Louisiana or
Rubbish.
something, didn't they? Not seen that. Don't want to see that.
No, don't need to watch it.
Matilda was all right.
I thought Matilda was alright, but again, they made it American.
Yeah, why can't they just keep it British?
I'm surprised they did. I bet they tried to make Harry Potter American.
I bet it was on the table, wasn't it? And how many different versions of Willy Wonka have there been these days? I don't know. But anyway, why did we start talking about this? Because of Ben and his bad Mr. Twit impression that Susie didn't appreciate.
It's got, who's it? Johnny Vegas and Margot Martindale.
Well, yeah, classic American actors there. Yeah, Johnny Vegas is Mr. Twit, isn't he?
Yeah.
But the whole film is very American looking by the looks of the trailer, and it's CG. Don't like it. Is that what you're scoring it out of? Are you giving it three?
I'm
three and a
giving
half
it
bad
3.5.
Mr. Twit?
The twits are rubbish.
3.5 twits out of 5.
If the Driscolls want to properly endear themselves to me, they will slag off their Netflix version of the twits.
I couldn't believe it. I was sitting when I saw that the other day.
Do you think that? I hope that they've not been influenced to prepare themselves for enjoying the Netflix by reading Mr. Twit.
Well,
I hope Ben's gone, no, we're not having that crap on the television. I'm going to read you the proper book.
Also,
how good do you think his Johnny Vegas impression is? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, probably. Also on Netflix, now I don't want to just badmouth Netflix, but we are enjoying Squid Game: The Challenge, aren't we?
No one I like is going to win because they're all...
Everyone that's got a personality seems to have been killed off at this point.
I don't know who
but on
any
the
of them
flip
are
side,
now.
I'm very nervous, and I will watch this.
What?
And I don't watch much TV.
What are you talking about?
Variety. I will watch Man vs. Baby because it's got Rowan Atkinson in.
I thought
We
you
loved
were-
Man vs. Bee, and now they've made a story about Man vs. Baby
My big
set
problem
at Christmas.
with Man vs. Bee was that it was a movie that they turned into like 25 3-minute long episodes.
It was 8, I think. They
It was
sliced it up into
stupid.
episodes when it was clearly originally a movie, and now they've got this. I don't want to watch that and Rowan Atkinson with a baby. Although,
Don't watch it then.
Although, what was the Mr. Bean where he's got a baby in the fun fair? That was all right.
Mr. Bean had a baby in the fun fair, I think that
We've
was
gone
called.
right off topic here. I very much apologise, listeners. My voice isn't exactly in the right state for waffle, but that's it for this week's Street Talk.